Simply put, Utah was not kind to the Golden State Warriors on Thursday. Headed to what certainly would have been their greatest win of the year, victory became just another bitter defeat. And it only took a heartbeat. In the great state of Texas, it's a more profound definition of a heartbeat that causes concern. With the main man out, Charles and his future Hall of Fame stablemate Clyde will try to make some hay for y'all. So who needs cartoons on Saturday morning? We have a real live Space Jam hero next on Sports Channel. Who said the big game is not being televised today? All eyes are on the San Jose Arena. Anytime Charles Barkley and Clyde Drexler come to the Bay Area, it's a big game. Today they come in as Houston Rockets as they take on the Golden State Warriors. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Golden State Warriors basketball on Sports Channel with Jim Barnett. I'm Greg Papa. The Warriors have only had about a day and a half to try to bounce back, Jim, after a very tough loss Thursday in Salt Lake City. I think to put it best, the Warriors shot only 39% from the floor against the Utah Jazz and almost won the basketball game. They played fine defense that night.
You know, they didn't win the game. They only shot 39%, but it might have been their best performance of the year. A very tough loss, and it did start with the defense. Obviously, they've made some adjustments in practice. Look at the swarming defense inside as Joe Smith blocks Antoine Carr. A drive down the middle. Rotation over again by Joe Smith. He picks up the charge. It was that way all night long. Utah had a very difficult time scoring. And when it came down to 4.8 seconds to go, the Warriors leading by 2. Stockton drives the baseline. He draws the crowd, kicks it out to Malone, a pump fake, and with no time left on the clock, it's 96 all. They go to overtime. It was all Utah after that, but nonetheless, the Warriors have to be very encouraged by that defensive effort.
And they also have to put that loss behind them today. The Houston Rockets come in. This is a team that has shuffled their roster very heavily since winning the championship 2 years ago, but still, Rudy Tomjanovich has them off to a very quick start. In fact, only the Chicago Bulls have a better record than the 10-1 Houston Rockets have already put on the board this year, Jim. I think the only guy that has a better record in November than Rudy T is Bill Clinton.
It's amazing what they've done over the past 4 years starting out like that. They usually have a slump late January and February, but by then they're off to such a good racing start and they get rested, ready for the playoffs.
In fact, one of those 10 victories came against the Warriors last Saturday in Houston. Barkley and Olajuwon were iffy, but Clyde Drexler was outstanding with a season-high 33 points.
Well, you know, he'd been struggling, shooting 34%. The early games in the season, and all of a sudden he had the breakout game, season high 33, and now he's shooting 42%. The last 3 games for him have been more like Clyde Drexler. At age 34, 14 years in the league, he's still got a lot left.
And with Olajuwon out of the lineup, Charles Barkley will get the ball inside. We'll come back with the starting lineups and the tip in a bit. Then we're going to head back inside our studios out of this break to check in with Glenn Kuiper. Brian Weber busy today announcing the big game.
Golden State Warriors basketball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Chrysler. Take a test drive at your Northern California Chrysler Plymouth dealers today. By Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By the Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. By the California Lottery. Is it you? Is it me? Who's next? By your local Ford dealer. See your local Ford dealer today and prepare to be impressed. By Supercut. For a great haircut, Supercut every time. And by the new Dodge, California's truck stop.
Barnett, Greg Papa, set to watch the Warriors and the Houston Rockets. And here's the way they'll start today, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For the Houston Rockets, Mario Elie, the former Warrior, gets the call at small forward. And another former Warrior, Kevin Willis, was here the second half of last year. He'll make the start today for the injured Olajuwon. And the smiling Charles Barkley will start at power forward. He's smiling because he leads the NBA in rebounding. Another guy with former Warrior ties, Matt Maloney, was a Warrior training camp cut last year. Now the starting point guard with the injury to Brent Price. And Clyde Drexler will get the start at the big guard position for Rudy Tomjanovich. 6th full year as the coach of the Houston Rockets. He went to the NBA Finals twice, of course, and winning championships in back-to-back years in his second and third year with the Rockets. Jim, last year, of course, they went out in the second round of the NBA playoffs, swept by the Seattle Supersonics. So they decided to change this just a little bit, and we'll talk about it throughout the game. But what monumental changes they made, bringing in Sir Charles. Warriors will go with the same group. Chris Mullin will make the start today. He is bothered by the flu, and he had that flu also in Salt Lake City. Felton Spencer also sprained his right thumb in that ball game, but he too will start with Joe Smith at power forward. In the backcourt, Brent Price and Latrell Sprewell. Mark Price, I should say. Brent is the brother of Mark, who is here. A chance to visit. He is the injured point guard of the Houston Rockets. Rick Adelman said his team was very dejected after the loss in Salt Lake City on Thursday in overtime, gut-wrenching defeat. But Joe Smith said afterwards, Jim, our confidence level is very high. We now know that we can play with the elite teams, and he feels that eventually they'll be able to get a victory against one of these clubs.
Certainly you would have to feel that way, and that's what you have to do. You have to be resilient. Kevin Willis with the Warriors last year, filling in for Akeem Olajuwon, comes up with season-high 19 points. Also had a season-high 12 rebounds in that game against Phoenix.
Olajuwon did not play in that game at all. It was at halftime of the previous game, a win against Minnesota, and he began experiencing an irregular heartbeat after having a cold glass of water at halftime. Latrell Sprewell playing terrific basketball to begin this year. We are set to go. Hugh Evans, Tom Washington, Michael Smith referees today. The Rockets are 10-1, including a perfect 4-0 on the road. The Warriors are 3-8, and the Warriors have won just one of their previous 5 games here in San Jose. Matt Maloney against Mark Price to open. Maloney had a good game against the Warriors last Saturday in Houston. There's some clutch late baskets. Here's Price. And the rebound tipped back out to Mark. Clyde Drexler is going to guard Chris Mullin this afternoon. Joe Smith went up, lost the ball, but a foul has been called on the Rockets. Looks like it's the way he's grimacing. I'd say it's on Mario Elie, Jim.
Well, he is complaining that he got all ball. It looked like he got a little bit of the wrist and the hand of Joe Smith.
Joe playing much better. We've talked about the Warriors' improved play over the last 5 games. I think a lot of it is attributed to Joe directly, Jim. The last 5, he is averaging 19.6 points a game and better than 10 rebounds a game. In the first 4 games he played this year, he was not anywhere near those numbers.
Not at all. In fact, was just very reluctant to go inside a lot and mix it up. He hasn't shown that tendency lately. He's been able to mix up inside. I thought he was probably the best interior defender in Utah the other night. Now, I thought Spencer did a nice job banging his body around, but rotation-wise, it was Joe Smith who came over from the weak side on numerous occasions.
Charles Barkley into Clyde Drexler against Sprewell. They play him straight up, and Sprewell pokes the ball out of bounds. Nice play by Sprewell. Warriors did a lot of double teaming last Saturday in Houston, especially against Olajuwon down low, and that opened it up for other guys to beat them. The first time we see no double team. Sprewell one-on-one, no help against Drexler. Shot clock down to 5 for the Rockets, and Matt Maloney. Drexler's going to have to hoist right up over Sprewell.
Again, good defense. Nice rotation out when Maloney went out to the sideline. They got a mismatch and couldn't do anything with it.
Spencer, the pick and roll with Mark Price. Spencer playing much better basketball the last week. It all started with a strong game last Saturday in Houston against Olajuwon.
And it looked like Willis on that play did not want to get in front of a barreling Spencer. I think Olajuwon would have stayed home.
Matt Maloney, an outstanding shooter, having a pretty good start with the Rockets. He was a late signee, signed on October the 1st. Here he fouls Mark Price. There was talk when Brent Price, Mark's brother, broke a bone in his arm, his left arm, that they would go after people like Spud Webb, maybe a Vern Fleming or a Doc Rivers, but the Rockets decided to stay with Matt Maloney. There's Brent.
It's worked out pretty well, don't you think?
So far. They are 10-1, but the Rockets have had what you'd call a soft schedule. Their 2 best victories against the Utah Jazz. Mullin makes his first shot of the day, and the Warriors go up 5-2.
Yeah, Houston's coming off a 5-game homestand. Now they go on the road a little bit. Go back home for 1 game after they play the Lakers on Sunday.
Yeah, they got Los Angeles tomorrow night in the Forum. Mario Elie Now a starter this year. Misses his first shot of the afternoon. Warriors off to a good start. You can see Felton Spencer playing with that right hand and thumb heavily wrapped up. Ellie against Sprewell, doubled by Barkley. Joe Smith wide open. Rebound to Kevin Willis. Willis. Rebound tipped in by Clyde Drexler.
Spree went to sleep a little bit, didn't block him off. Sometimes you do that when you're a backcourt individual. You just look for the big man to get it. You're anxious to run the other way.
Sprewell lost the dribble. That's something he has improved upon in the last week or so. The unforced turnover. So look at Clyde still gliding in a little bit light. And the rebound taken away by the Warriors. A lot of talk in Houston about Drexler losing a stride or two with bad knees. His numbers are down this year, but he has had his moments of brilliance.
Well, as I mentioned before, 34% coming into the game against the Warriors a week ago. Now it's 42. Nice play.
Mark Price also trying to slow down the sands of time. Has not been overly effective this year, but at times can still be very good. There's a foul against Mark down low called by Hugh Evans, pushing Matt Maloney.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Mark to have his first 20-plus point ball game. Now as he comes around, just a little traffic up at the top around the free throw line, and I guarantee you he used Houston people to screen just as easily as he did his own men.
Kevin Willis likes to shoot it down low, and he misses the first shot. See if the Warriors double team him later in the game. He proved last year as a Warrior not to be a very good passer out of double teams. Warriors up 7-4. Sprewell having a hard time holding on to the basketball today, and with people like Ellie and Drexler, who are very chancy defenders, Jim, you have to be aware of the passing lanes and the dribbling lanes.
Yes, you do. And just like Ellie showed you right there, he likes to come from behind and poke at the ball. Now, if you give the ball up and cut, you'll have success.
Like Price, I think he tried to go backdoor to Sprewell, threw it away. Clyde comes in, another missed layup for Drexler, and it's out of bounds off of Mullen. Rockets will retain the possession with a fresh shot clock.
Price thought Mullen was going to continue. He just stopped because Drexler had position.
Drexler offensive putback. Rockets are a much better rebounding team, of course, with Drexler. Clyde, is Charles here today? He hasn't done a whole lot. He's taken one shot so far. Being a noon tip-off, you'd think that Charles would be a little bit slow starting. Sprewell up over Ellie. Nice play as he spun baseline on him.
If they can get him a quick isolation, he's much more effective rather than just taking it one-on-one with 20 seconds left on the clock.
All 5 Warriors have scored, and they lead by 3. Ellie. Kevin Willis, no again. Rebound to Mullen.
Willis is having a tough time from his favorite spot on the floor.
Mark Price, offensive foul here on the pick set by Felton Spencer, his first foul of the day. Felton fouled out in his return to Salt Lake City on Thursday, but overall had a pretty good game with the Utah Jazz. He was very good against the Rockets last Saturday. Houston beat the Warriors last week at the Summit, 113-105. Rockets shot 58% that ball game today. They're off to a much lower start, hitting on just 27% to open. Bumping foul here. Little push is called on Chris Mullen, his first foul. Rick Adelman does not agree with that call, I think. He does call a timeout. The coach, though, Warriors up 3 early on. Said Mario Ellie. We've had a lot of former Warrior return nights, but this one promises to be one of the most emotional. When Tim Hardaway, one of the most popular players here in the last 20 years, makes his Bay Area return. He comes in with the Miami Heat on Tuesday night. We'll have that game for you right here on Sports Channel. Hardaway and the Heat last night, a win in Sacramento. Tim had a scoreless first half, then scored 22 in the second half, made some late free throws. He's lost some weight, and they say he's playing much better defensively. We'll see on Tuesday. Kevin Willis is not playing well here, Jim. The former Warrior commits his second turnover of the early game, and he's already missed 3 shots.
Hasn't had a chance to make a hoop. He's had a couple, 3 chances, but hasn't gotten any points on the board, only 1 rebound. But, you know, the Warriors didn't take advantage of Houston turnovers a week ago. They had 28 of them. Let's see if the Warriors have learned something in the last week. I think they have.
The Rockets average almost 20 turnovers a game. The product certainly of the roster turnover. Warriors get very sloppy here.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of pass. It really doesn't gain anything even if it's completed.
Kevin Willis, this time going to pass out of the double team to Ellie, and he whips the ball in the crowd. Jim, anything to the fact that this game is a little earlier than most NBA players are used to? I mean, some of these guys are like their nights. Charles is a little bit nocturnal, I think.
I was going to say, it might be for Barkley. He's the one guy that I would suspect that, you know, might not get his bed rest.
Mullen up and in.
And that's not a slam on Charles. It's just that, you know, Charles likes to have a lot of fun, and it's tough to play at noon.
Here Charles was wide-eyed this morning. They bust over from San Francisco, where they stayed last night, and Barkley was doing the running commentary on the Holyfield-Tyson fight. They had that on tape, and Charles was doing his Cody Pacheco. Foul on Drexler here, as Mark Price had the ball bobbled into his lap. Charles, he hasn't done a thing yet. He's not pulled a rebound. He shot the ball only 1 time. He's hardly even touched it in the first 6 minutes of play.
Well, I'm a little shocked at that, because I would think, as a player, knowing your key guy Olajuwon is out, that you would try to get every rebound that you could.
He does lead the NBA in rebounding coming into the game today. Joe Smith misses. Rebound pulled down by Mario Ellie. Barkley over 17 rebounds a game. Here's his second shot of the day in his first 2. Barkley not scoring as much overall, a career 23.3 average. This year down to below 18.
He's been in the top 10 in scoring for 9 consecutive years.
That may change this year, though. Olajuwon clearly is the shooter on this club. Willis pulls the rebound. Charles trying to wake up a bit with back-to-back baskets, and this time he's fouled. And he's fouled by Felton Spencer. That's Felton's second foul already.
Well, you talked about Hardaway last night, 22 in the second half. That's the way Barkley is. He can lull you for a while, and you'll think he's asleep, and all of a sudden he can just go wild on you and have a huge quarter. He'll have a stretch in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes where he might put up 12 or 14 points.
You would think with all the postseason games that he has played and all the national TV games that are played on Sunday afternoons, he would be used to an early game. We'll just see how he's going to play it today. Charles has 5, and he scored those 5 in the last minute of the play. Italian at 11. Ellie is guarding Springwell. Drexler gas Mullen. Oh, Springwell right down the gut with another very difficult shot.
Well, he's pretty adept at flying through the air, but watch what I like. 1 dribble. Now, if you can make a move and put the ball on the floor only 1 time, particularly if you're not a great ball handler, you're much better off when you've got that kind of lift, able to finish at the basket. You're going to be pretty unstoppable, and he did that at will, it seems like to me, against Utah, also against the Lakers at times when he had 24 in that first half.
3-point play by Springwell gives the Warriors a lead of 14 to 11.
See, Barkley scored 5 straight. He wants to score again.
And the Warriors double him. Not on catch. And now the pass behind Clyde. Charles picks it up. Mullen tipped it. Joe Smith diving to the floor. We're going to have a jump ball here between Charles Barkley and Joe Smith. Shot clock was down to 4, so the Rockets get a break here. If they control this tip, Jim, they're going to get a fresh 24 seconds. Smiling inside, I know. His Michigan Wolverines, his alma mater, just pulled off another big victory in the Big Ten as they won the rivalry game with Ohio State.
Ooh, they came back.
Yeah, 13-9, I believe the final was. That's 2 years in a row they spoiled the season for the Buckeyes. They still will go to the Rose Bowl, Ohio State, but probably now are out of the national championship race. Willis is fouled. Todd Fuller just checked into the game for the Warriors, replacing Felton Spencer. So now the Warriors combined center play has 3 fouls today.
Well, Willis missed his first 3 jumpers. Now he decides to go inside. He loves the jump hook. That was a regular running hook, in and out.
Willis was a Warrior for the second half of last year. You recall, coming to the Warriors from Miami in the Hardaway and Gatling deal. The Warriors also picked up Bimbo Coles in that trade. Played the last 28 games of the year with the Warriors.
Well, it was clear they just brought Willis in to clear some cap money.
And they used it to sign the guy with the basketball, Mark Price. So that was the decision there. 14-12 Warriors. Price. Nice catch by Fuller. Was behind him. Willis feels that Fuller threw an elbow, but Willis picks up the foul. This is the only matinee going on in the NBA. Everything else will come up tonight.
Good little kick out pass, and Fuller was ready to catch. He decided to go with the offhand, the right hand. He did ward off a little bit with his strong arm, but you know, a week ago, last Sunday, Fuller confesses the first game I didn't start, and it was a big adjustment for him. Says, I underestimated what it takes as a player to come off the bench. I didn't prepare myself adequately for that situation.
You're reading from Matt Steinmetz's article today in the Contra Costa Times. You read the line about Karl Malone?
I read it.
Hilarious stuff. Where he early in the first quarter, he says some guys on the bench were talking trash to Malone. Malone thought it was Todd Fuller, and he told Todd, don't get me started, big fella. That's one guy in your first 3 weeks of the NBA, Jim, you don't want to get angry with. He is Karl Malone.
But Fuller backed off. I mean, didn't say much. He just said, hey, it wasn't me. Just go to the line and take your shots.
I thought that was a good comeback. Springwall to Mark Price. Warriors are up 3. Mullen, good pass for a Springwall three-pointer. Good passing by the Warriors, though. Price to Mullen, over to Sprewell.
Good shot by Spree also. He got it up in the air and had a good chance.
Illegal defense on the Warriors.
So far, the Warriors have played it pretty straight up. They did try to double-team Barkley a couple times 2 possessions ago, but other than that, they've been playing everybody one-on-one.
Thing about the Rockets that will induce you into some more illegal defenses is the weak side of the floor. They like to space their people out for three-point shots.
Well, this team likes to shoot threes.
A little bit. Maloney's very good at it. Sam Mack is now into the game for Houston, wearing number 5. There goes Barkley, and he's going to wake up now.
What'd they call?
Little push-off, offensive foul on Charles. Well, that's got to be a technical. At least one.
Somebody better go grab Barkley.
Well, he very seldom gets number 2.
Well, he's still chipping. A lot of people would if he didn't have the name Barkley. Look at this. Now he's talking to Rick Allen.
You know, we're all laughing here, but from a Warrior perspective, this is probably the last thing you wanted. Most people have a cup of coffee in the morning. Charles Barkley takes a technical. This is just going to get him more into the game. Actually, he's going to lead the game right now, but there he goes. He's still yelling at the referee.
Well, I thought he had a good lane to go through. Now, see, Smith's got his hands on. Yeah, that's a ticky-tack foul because there was a wide-open lane for him to drive. I have to agree with Charles on that.
I agree, too. I mean, for most people, it's ticky-tack. For Charles Barkley, it's borderline criminal to call that foul on him.
He didn't really push off and gain an advantage with the left arm.
Here's Sprewell. Foul before the shot. Foul down the floor. Rudy Tomjanovich is going to stick up for Barkley. Here comes the technical. I thought Charles scored a touchdown here, Jim. Look at that. Ooh.
He put it right in the face of Michael Smith.
The referee paused for a moment. He's not let up. This is the way he was on the bus ride over from the hotel talking about Mike Tyson today.
You see, he couldn't talk anymore to the official because he would have gotten another technical. So now he's trying to embarrass the official by talking to Adelman. So he's not making his comments directly at the official. He's circumventing that. But you know what? He's still embarrassing the official, and most people would have been kicked out.
And how many times have you seen Barkley take a first-quarter technical in a game? Almost always.
Many.
I think he likes it. He's got too much money. He wants to give some back to David Stern. Timeout called by Houston. Warriors up 6 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Charles Barkley joining the Houston Rockets makes for a very interesting locker room personality-wise. Olajuwon is so serious, and so is Clyde Drexler, but Charles, he's anything but serious. Of course, he's quite playful. We asked the head coach, Rudy T, on how Charles changes the locker room.
You mentioned Akeem and Clyde. They're great leaders, but just like a coach has to coach to his personality, you have to be yourself and they're more reserved guys. Charles has a big personality, and to be true to himself, that's the way he's going to be, more vocal, and I think it complements the team very well. There is a place for a guy like Charles Barkley.
Well, the only returns, Jim, are very favorable. Olajuwon apparently loves playing with him. He was quoted as saying he's going to make this season so much fun. And when you are a guy like Olajuwon and Drexler and Rudy T, who've always been this focus of the media, it's not bad to have a guy like Charles around to take the media over for an entire season.
It's not bad at all. You know, Rudy has a great sense of balance, and he knows that from his players. In fact, when Barkley came here, now Maloney misses the three. When Barkley came here, he says, I've always admired Tomjanovich for two reasons. Number one, he's won, and secondly, he's never been on an ego trip like some coaches. He's a great coach, but doesn't pat himself on the back. He says, I respect that.
That was a little dig, I think, at Pat Riley. Joe Smith throwing it inside. Here's a steal. The Rockets have made some player changes, but Clyde Drexler remains on the floor. Kevin Willis scores on a pass off from Matt Maloney. The Warrior lead is down to 4 at 18-14. Rockets have brought into the game Othella Harrington, who has played quite well in his rookie year. He was a early round 2 draft pick out of Georgetown, where he was a center, but in the NBA is a power forward. They left Todd Fuller open, and Joe Smith found him for a dunk. Nice pass by Joe. Warriors have hit 58% of their early shots. The Rockets just 6 of their first 16. Here's Harrington. And the three is made from the wing by Clyde Drexler. With Barkley going off the floor after that technical, look for Clyde to stay on the floor while he's out. Tomjanovich would like to have at least one of those two future Hall of Famers and NBA's top 50 all-time players on the floor at all times. There's a foul on Drexler, and well, now it may have to change because Clyde just picked up his second foul. He may have to get them both to the bench.
Watch the pass by Joe Smith. Now watch as Mullen and Price give a lot of room over here. Willis comes. Fuller goes right to the basket. Clear it out a little bit. Double team comes from Willis inside. You've got an easy dunk.
Clyde will play on for the Rockets despite picking up 2 in the game's first 10 minutes. Sprewell gives the Warriors a 21-17 lead. Matt Fuller checks in. Individual game tickets for this Warriors season are now on sale at all Bass ticket centers. Call 510-762 Bass, the Bay Area seating service. Sprewell a good first quarter once again. He had 13 in the first quarter here on Thursday against Van Exel and the Lakers. The Trail has 9 points in this first quarter, 5 from the free throw line. Emmanuel Davis is now into the game for the Rockets, playing point guard. There's a miss by Sam Mack. Matt Bullard in the game, and he's normally an outside guy, Jim, but he slips inside for an offensive rebound, fouled by Andrew DeClerc. And that's the first thing Andrew has done this afternoon, just came into the game.
I think Andrew could turn into the top Warrior rebounder on the interior. He's got that kind of quickness. He's got pretty good size, and he's got the mental attitude for that. I mean, as time goes on, a couple of years from now, he could turn into a very, very good rebounder.
Well, the Warriors could use it. We've talked a lot about the Warriors' defensive problems this year, but when you compare this team to last year's team, Jim, they don't stack up in 2 critical areas, defense and rebounding.
Yes.
They were a much better defensive team last year and a much better rebounding job. Oh, Sprewell! What a pass by Mullen. Chris almost put that in the basket himself, but Sprewell went up and made a tremendous finish.
Mullen will take the risky pass, as we know, and that had to be right on the money. There wasn't a lot of margin for error because that almost hit the board. I thought Sprewell did an incredible job to pick it off.
There goes Sam Mack. He had a monster game against the Warriors last year. Went for 38. Rockets a little out of sorts, minus all 3 of their stars. Olajuwon's hurt, Barkley steaming, and Drexler's in foul trouble.
Now watch this pass, right from the hip. If Sprewell doesn't catch it there, it hits the board. He had to go way up to catch that one.
11 points for Sprewell. Donald Royal is in the game for the Warriors here late in the first quarter. Todd Fuller takes a rest. The Warriors go to a sleek group. And Sprewell commits another turnover.
Well, as soon as the double team started to come, Spree should have backed it out. Simply should have backed it out. That's a nice pass again, a good angle, isn't it?
Just off the rim, out of the cylinder, a clean play. Kevin Willis leaves for Rudy Tomjanovich. Tracy Moore comes in for the Rockets, a fifth-year guard out of Tulsa, who has not been playing much. In fact, they have 5 guards on the club, and the word is he's the 5th, and that guy does not play much. But the Rockets are off to a snooze of a start here. So Tomjanovich is going to play just about everybody. He's played all but one healthy player, and that is Charles Jones. Shot clock is down to 5 late in this first quarter. Matt Bullard to Tracy Moore, and he is fouled. With the shot clock going to 0, they call a foul on Andrew DeClercq. That's already his second foul of the game.
Well, they didn't let Tracy Moore drive the baseline like Eddie Jones did the other night and finish with a dunk. I think DeClercq tried to get a clean block, but Tracy Moore just got to the body. Tracy, out of Tulsa back in '88, was kicked around a lot. He played for my cousin, J.D. Barnett.
That's right. 8 years this guy labored in the CBA. He's off to a horrible start this year, shooting 28% from the floor. He's made just 3 of 19 on threes. He said, it's all mental with me now. He's lost his confidence. Funny how that happens with shooters.
Well, I don't think it happens to great shooters.
Streaky shooters.
Yeah, streaky shooters, definitely.
You know, Jim, that last foul was not DeClercq's second of the game. It was his first of the game. Earlier was a foul I thought was on Andrew, was put on to Todd Fuller. And Todd has 2. That's probably why he's seated. Sprewell lost the ball again. A turnover playing first quarter for Latrell. Tracy Moore almost drained a long one there. First quarter is over. Sprewell turned it over a little bit, but Rudy T knows he has a problem with Spree. He had an acrobatic first quarter, scoring 11 points. Warriors up 24-21. 11-point first quarter by Latrell Sprewell. He leads the Warriors to a lead of 3 after 1 quarter. Latrell Sprewell, you're noticing this year, is posting up a lot more. It was Joe Smith last year. This year, the Warriors using Sprewell down low, trying to get a double team. We asked Rick Adelman about Sprewell's play in the low post prior to the game today.
Spree is the one guy we have on the team that they'll double team on a regular basis. He's very difficult to guard inside. I think he's made unbelievable strides since last year when he really never posted up very much. And now he's getting a feel for what he can do. And I think he wants to give the ball up. You know, he will give the ball up, but it's going to take time. You know, he's going through a stage where he's never done a lot of these things.
And he certainly was very effective in the low post late in that game Thursday in Salt Lake City with 2 crucial baskets. Barkley back into the game. Now to Tracy Moore. Blocked by Donald Royal. And he barely hit the rim. Warriors will get the ball on the missed shot. Early moments, second quarter here. B.J. Armstrong is in the game, playing at point guard for the Warriors. Latrell Sprewell is the off guard. The front line is Chris Mullin, Donald Royal, and Andrew DeClercq. Bullard tips it away, and it's stolen by Othella Harrington. Here's Sir Charles. Rockets shot only 33% in a woeful early performance.
He's playing with 3 guys he knows not a whole lot about. Tracy Moore continues to shoot, but I don't think the confidence has been bolstered.
Royal against Harrington. Donald Slip stays with the play. It's a tough shot. Rebounded by Barkley.
Donald hurt his wrist in the Utah game also. He seems to be okay. This is a deep position inside for Harrington.
Didn't get the finger roll. B.J. Armstrong to Mullin. Up over Bullard. That's Barkley's second straight rebound, his first 2 of the game. Emmanuel Davis plays point guard for the Rockets. There's a foul off the ball. This one's going to be on DeClercq, and this one is his second. Well, do you let a guy run, or you let him get position, or you just stand there?
I always thought you were entitled to that position. Barkley came up with a little fake wrist injury momentarily.
Joe Smith has replaced de Klerk in the game. Now Hogard Barkley with help from Mullen. Mullen tips it away. Warriors are making the point that it may have glanced off of Barkley, but they don't get that call. Charles is very turnover prone, committing almost 4 a game. Speaking of turnovers, the Rockets commit another. Armstrong, good pass to Mullen for the lay-in.
I'll tell you why it was a good pass. If he'd have thrown it directly, it could have been deflected or intercepted. He had to go up in the air, make a fake pass because the defender went for the steal. He looped it over the top to Chris.
Warriors up 5. Donyell Marshall in your picture coming down the table is going to check in. Next stoppage of play. Emmanuel Davis knocks one down. He's played extremely well. He is a 28-year-old rookie. Played in almost every league in the world except the NBA until this year.
Yeah, he was the CBA Defensive Player of the Year last year. Although he can't score. 19 points against the Lakers. Yeah, it's tough to play against guys you don't know too much about. You have to go around once or twice to get a feel of what they're capable of doing. And Barkley, as I say, he's playing with guys that he has no idea what they're capable of doing.
And at times it looks like it. Although Harrington able to score inside. He was the good-looking freshman for John Thompson at Georgetown, and it's never got any better, at least statistically. And he wound up going to the Rockets in the 2nd round of the draft last summer. Mullen over Bullard with a tough 3. Bullard was right in his face. Mullen has 9 points today. He is at 4 of his 5, and he was a question mark before Tip with the flu.
Well, he played 40 minutes in Utah and only took 11 shots. He needs more field goals.
Tracy Morgan, the confidence is nowhere near his shooting rhythm. That one was a miss the moment it left his hand.
Well, the one drive that he made, he got himself to the line. You're not shooting outside, take it inside.
Mullen again. Rudy T's got to put a quicker guy on Mullen than Matt Bullard. And they're talking about that right now. Maybe a good time to bring Drexler and Ellie back into the game. Warriors have opened up a 7-point lead, the game's largest. Bullard, this is why he's in the game. He's a 3-point shooter. In fact, he and Sam Perkins, probably the best big men, 3-point shooters in the league. Although unlike Perkins, Bullard does not do much in the post. Another 3 for Mullen. Mullen is killing Bullard. Warriors go up 10.
That's the double team. Bullard started to go back on Sprewell. He dished it out.
Just does not have the quickness to stay with Mullen, especially when he's asked to rotate defensively. Mullen torches him. It's a 10-point quarter for Mullen already, and the Warriors have a 10-point lead.
Women's college basketball last night, Stanford hosting Northern Arizona down at Maples Pavilion, and it was good to see Tara Vanderveer back in charge for the Cardinal. It was good to see Katie Starboard firing away from 3-point range. All offense and all defense from Stanford. Watch the full court pressure. Northern Arizona had no chance. They would turn the ball over 12 times and shoot just 28% in the first half. Completely dominated by Stanford. And in the second half, the bench would come into play for the Cardinal. Kendra Benton, couple of blocks, 8 boards, including that block right there. That would lead to a Cardinal fast break. And on the other end, Heather Owen inside, follows up her own miss. All Cardinal, 96-48 the final from Maples Pavilion. Now join us back here in the studios at halftime of the Warriors-Rockets game. We will check out a day in college football, including the big one from Columbus, Ohio, Ohio State and Michigan. We'll check in on all the other scores as well. So join us at halftime. Right now, let's get back to Greg and Jim at the arena.
Chris Mullen scores 8 points in a span of 62 seconds. Almost got another steal there for a potential lay, and Ellie back into the game, and he scores. They brought Ellie and Drexler back in to try to slow down Mullen, and Ellie scores immediately.
Well, Mullen is just finding a little space up top. Now, that was his first one, and then the second time, Sprewell has the ball. Bullard's going to cheat down here, and you'll just see Mullen spot right up for an easy 3. So 2 in a row from the same spot. And that was a lot easier than the first.
Mario Ellie, a good free throw shooter, better than 80% throughout his career. Misses it. Incredibly, Olajuwon, Drexler, and Ellie are the only 3 guys left from the Rockets championship of just 2 years ago. They have completely changed this roster. Here's B.J. Armstrong. A 3-pointer, only his 2nd of the year.
They're really stretching out the defense of the Rockets. Remember, it was that weekend, Houston, then when B.J. went to San Antonio, he broke out. So nice to see him coming here. They're going to need some offensive production from him with Bimbo out.
Drexler well defended by Sprewell. Rebound to Barkley, showing some elbows to B.J. Back into Charles. They double up. Back out to Emmanuel Davis. And he misses a 3-pointer. You can hear Barkley instructing his teammates what to do when he passes out of the double. Donyell Marshall with his first points in quite a while. Donyell did play the other night in Salt Lake City. Only got in the game for 5 scoreless minutes. Before that, he had not played in 4 in a row.
Well, Harrington didn't even run down the floor to chase Donyell after the rebound by B.J. It was amazing. He simply trotted down the floor.
Here is Harrington on the other end, fouled on the floor. A 13-2 Warrior run, and they're up 13 points.
Now Drexler's underneath. Watch this rebound. Now watch Harrington right there. Just watch him down the floor. I mean, he's just jogging. He is simply jogging down the floor.
Wow. Surprise birdie time. Jonovich allows him to play on here. That was Jerry Sloan. You could be certain he'd be yanked. Drexler missing.
You're exactly right. Jerry Sloan would have taken him out immediately.
Sprewell. All the way in again.
Greg, it's the same thing that I emphasized earlier. When you can take one dribble 15 feet to the basket, you've got a huge advantage. That may be about 18 feet out. Look at that stretch that Sprewell gets. And you're home free. I mean, he's able to finish those kinds of plays. Not many people can do that.
And he's doing more of it.
Yes.
Remember the Laker game, we compared him to Sleepy Floyd, who couldn't, of course, do all that in one dribble, but Sleepy was the rubber band man where he'd stretch out and go around a guy to complete layups. And at times on Tuesday or Thursday against the Lakers, well, it was Tuesday against the Lakers, he did look like Sleepy Floyd. Legal defense on the Warriors. One more look at this.
Now, see, he's out 22 feet.
That's a long way out.
It sure is. But you see, what you do is you take one dribble, that's a nice crossover, you put it out in front of you, and you run to the ball. You chase the ball. And if you're not a great ball handler, you're actually turning a deficiency into something that's a huge plus.
Illegal defense on the Warriors, their 2nd violation of the game. Ellie makes the technical. Warriors have taken the game over in the last 3+ minutes to go up by 15. It was 16 a moment ago before the Ellie technical. And you can see why Sprewell was such a great long and triple jumper in high school in Milwaukee. That's something that can't be taught. One dribble and score from 18 feet away.
He's learned that a lot over the last couple of years, and he's becoming much more effective.
Foul on Donyell Marshall. Donyell's 2nd since coming into the game. Rockets will be shooting free throws here. Or are they? No, they're going to change up and not put them on the line. Harrington went towards the line, but they've decided to change that. No free throws. They were never going to the line. Hugh Evans says we were never taken to the line. He's right. The Rockets actually were trying to steal one there. Well, it's quiet in here. Everybody hears everything you say.
You know, I'm surprised. It's a huge crowd today, though. I'm a little surprised that Saturday afternoon, a lot of things going on in the Bay Area. Big game.
Barkley gets inside and scores. Nice pass by Drexler over the top of the defense. 44-31. Warriors up 13. Joe Smith doubled. Donyell thought about it, then puts it out. Mullen's going to get a loose ball foul here, climbing a few backs for Chris's 2nd foul.
You know, that last pass by Drexler, he is a complete shooting guard, because you mentioned a great rebounder. He's averaging 6 rebounds a game this year. That's down from career around 7.2. And Drexler's also at 5.5 assists a game.
We better check with Hugh Evans here. They are going to shoot free throws now, right? Clyde Drexler on the line. And it's 44-32. Rockets will bring Kevin Willis back into the game. Better get used to these matinees. We're going to play quite a few of them. A week from this Sunday, the Warriors and Blazers will tip off at 12 o'clock. Again, a high noon game. First 10,000 fans attending the game that day will receive a limited edition Chris Mullin magnet. This is the first of a series of 6 Warrior player magnets that will be given out throughout the year. Barkley, he's going back on the line after scoring a hoop.
He just picked up 3 offensive rebounds. His field goal percentage went down a little bit. He doesn't mind. And if you watch this again, you'll see how strong he gets on the final effort. He knows he's going to get fouled on the play. Tip again. Misses that. Now watch this and watch him gather. He gathered, he went up real strong and went back a little bit, protected the ball. He knew he had a super shot at a 3-point attempt.
That is where he's going to help the Houston Rockets immeasurably. Last year they ranked 26th in the 2019 NBA in offensive rebounding. The year before that, they were next to last and still won the championship.
And Barkley is getting real competitive right now because he was very upset that he missed that free throw.
44-34. Rockets have trimmed a 16-point lead down to 10. Springwell with a high cross-court pass. And the Warriors coach, although he has a double-figure lead, knows that the game has changed in the last couple of moments. And Barkley, you're right, Jim, he's becoming much more animated. He just asked for the ball on the block, pointing to his feet, saying, "Give me the ball." Around the perimeter for three-point shooters. They find an open one. Clyde will drive it now. Somehow came out of that with the possession. Shot clock down to 2. What a spin, fires. Air ball. Should be a 24-second violation. It is. Drexler had it over 3 from the left wing, decided to drive it. Mark Price back in for the Warriors. And B.J. Armstrong sits down. We have 4 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the first half. Matt Maloney also back in for the Rockets. Looks like Tom Janovich wants Maloney in the game whenever Price is on the floor. Foul on Houston. Number 3 of the game on Mario Elie.
Well, a moment ago, Latrell Sprewell picked up his 4th turnover of the game. Now watch this play as you run it ahead.
Now they've laid a technical on Elie also.
Stop it here. Joe Smith is the open man, but Latrell does not choose to go to him. Joe Smith was wide open on the play, and he goes cross court and turns the ball over. Those are the little decisions, you know, that Sprewell is learning and trying to overcome and make better decisions with the ball.
Mario's all worked up here. He didn't like the last call. Barkley's going to have to be far more diplomatic. He already picked up his technical for the day. Let's take a look. A moment ago, Mario picked up his 3rd foul of the game.
Well, he was riding him across the middle.
Mark Price made the technical free throw. Warriors up 45-34.
By the way, I think Rick Allen was a little upset with the officials a few moments ago because he thought Barkley should have been ejected in the first quarter. He was talking to Bruce Smith about that. That's when Barkley got that foul on Joe Smith when he went driving down the lane. Rick was pretty upset about that. Said he shouldn't even be in the game right now. I have to agree with him. As I said, if his name were Barkley, he would have been gone.
Sam Mack is in for the Rockets. Bogdanovic shuffling players. Joe got him hung up on his hip and he traveled. It has not been a masterpiece today.
Well, Joe Smith hasn't been real active. Has yet to have a field goal. He's got 1 free throw and 3 rebounds to go along with that, but he's been very quiet. But Sprewell and Mullen combined for 30 between those two. You don't get a lot of chances.
And you expect a high turnover total with these 2 clubs. Rockets almost 20 a game. The Warriors better than 18.5 a game. Price against Sam Mack. And Willis. And he tries. Willis has had a very rough game. To play. Warriors playing Price and Sprewell on the backcourt. Front line of Mullen, Smith, and Spencer, the starting 5, reunited for the remainder of the half. Joe Smith threw that one behind Springwell. Again behind Mullen a little bit, but he still makes the shot. Mullen having a tremendous half. He and Springwell have each scored 16 points. And combined, they've only missed 2 shots.
When Mullen scored those 10 points, 8 of them in 62 seconds, that was the first field goal attempt since that time. Again, going to the hot hand.
And he may not get one for a while, Jim. He just picked up his 3rd foul. Let's see how Edelman plays, and Chris may have to watch the remainder of this first half. Timeout, Houston. With Jim Barnett, Greg Papa back in San Jose. Warriors up 13 late in the first half. Check us out tonight at 7, a couple of times on Monday and Tuesday. The Warriors Television Roundtable will be joined by the radio voice of the Warriors, Tim Roy. Says here on the card, Jim, tune in. This is going to be a great show. Intimating that they aren't always great. Now, who wrote that? They're always great, but this one in particular is very, very great.
Well, I'll finish my thought in a moment. Sprewell down the middle, back out to Price. Mullen rotates off the screen. He's had a difficult time getting open the last 5 minutes since Bullard has left the game, and enter Drexler, Mario Elie, better defenders.
This week on the TV Roundtable, we'll look back on the careers of some of the better guards to play for the Warriors. People like Charles Johnson, Butch Beard,
Guy Rogers. And I talked to 2 of our movie critics today.
That's right.
They are here.
Space Jam will be our movie review tonight. We actually flew down a couple of critics to the premiere in Hollywood to hang out with Michael Jordan.
We're not going to reveal who they are. You'll have to see the show to find out, but it's well worth tuning in.
Now, why can't you and I review movies? We could do that. Could hang with Michael.
But these guys are better than Siskel and Ebert.
47 to 36. The Warriors up 11 late in this first half. Springwell may have been blocked. We hope for his sake it was. It was badly missed. Sam Mack may have gotten a piece of it. Here's Matt Maloney. Missing a 3-rebound call by Kevin Willis. And the Rockets pull it out. Barkley and Willis, the focal point of their changing this offseason, trying to get better rebounding and complementary play to the team.
Spree is illegal.
And Barkley was pointing it out for a good 20 seconds.
So was Sam Mack, and it took them about 4 or 5 seconds to figure it out.
Now, exactly what the Rockets do to you is why Sprewell was illegal. Barkley was in the block, and they space out so far with the 3-point shooting behind the line. Sprewell really has to come up much higher to leave Barkley alone, or else he has to go in and double Jim. He can't just hang in the middle.
Well, when your man is out above the top of the circle, now right now he's okay, but when he backs out here, now he's above the top of the circle. Sprewell has to be above that free throw line. He's got to be in that area.
He's got to guard one of the guys, guard Barkley or guard Mack. He can't just hang in the middle. Right. Maloney missed the layup.
Yeah, I failed to mention you can go down and double team the ball, but you can't just stay in no man's land.
Joe Smith, only a 1-point first half. They double him. Sprewell, 3-point goal. 19 first half points for Latrell Sprewell. And the Warriors go back up by a baker's dozen. Less than 2 minutes to go in the half. Warriors sealing well on Clyde Drexler's penetration, but Matt Maloney makes him pay on the weak side with a 3-pointer.
And Maloney can hit that because he's a top 3-point shooter all the time.
Price comes right back with his own home run.
At University of Pennsylvania, this guy we know can shoot it. I still am waiting for a huge breakout game by Mark Price. Something where, you know, along 26, 28. And he's capable of doing that even in the limited minutes he's playing.
Sam Mack. Drexler scores and he's fouled. Warriors watching the Rockets beat over the offensive boards here late in the first half, and that's what's keeping the Rockets in the game. They are shooting a pitiful 34% from the floor. Pardon me.
Now Barkley thought he got fouled on that, but he kept it alive enough that Drexler just picked it up and finished.
Andrew DeClercq back in for Rick Adelman. Drexler, a 3-point play. Drexler has 14 points. You would hardly notice them. He has had a very good quarter. He had 7 in the first quarter, but then left early, and he has scored 7 Also here in the second. Only a minute to go in the half. Joe Smith, his very first hoop of the day.
You see how Sprewell went from the double team there? He didn't take it to trouble. He backed it up just to get a better angle, give you a little more room to operate rather than force the action.
Warriors are taking the nets off. They have made 20 of 29 shots. Foul on Matt, pushing off against Mark Price after Price came up with the steal. The Warriors will not free throw, though. That's only Houston's 4th team foul.
Good deflection. Not much of a foul. I think Price was looking and hoping there wouldn't be a whistle. He'd go right down for a layup.
Adelman really has to be happy with his team offensively. And the Rockets are an excellent defensive team as they bring in Tracy Moore here late in the half for offense. Take out Clyde.
Well, they're shooting 30% more than they did in Utah right now. Is that correct?
The Warriors, yeah, 69. They shot 39 in Salt Lake City. Price lost the ball. No, he didn't. Nice fumble recovery. Shot clock at 7. Sprewell. Tough one again. The tougher they are, the easier they fall for him. Unbelievable shots he's making.
You know what he's learned? He's learned how to play with his back to the basket from quite a ways out and learned how to protect the ball. And as I said, not a great ball handler, so he's learned to compensate for that. That was a great illustration of that.
And he's learned it quickly. Shot clock down to 5. Bullard in the game for a 3-point shot. That's where he is strong. Matt Bullard, 41% three-point man, is at his 14th of the year. Here's your last shot of the first half. And Mark Price banks it down at the horn. It is a 2-pointer for Price. What a show the Warriors put on in the first half.
Rick Adelman called a screen for Joe Smith to set it up for Price. He did just that. Bullard came out, but he just went right under him. And a nice finish to a great half.
Great. The Warriors shot 71% from the floor. They made 22 of 31 shots. Unreal. They're up 13, 2 quarters into it. 1980, Mr. Mean, Larry Smith, and he had an impact on the Warriors right away. All rookie first-teamer that first year out, and one of the NBA's top scorers, or top rebounders, I should say, right away, Jimmy. Probably the biggest thing about Larry Smith, he was not given full credit league-wide because he played on some very poor Warrior teams beginning in 1982 all the way until George Karl's first year when the Warriors finally, after 10 years out of the playoffs, finally qualified for the postseason.
Well, Larry Smith was a tremendous worker. I mean, he just wanted the basketball. Yes, he was a pretty good defensive rebounder, but he was a much better offensive rebounder. In fact, in 1986, he recorded the 4th highest total offensive rebounds in a game that was against Detroit at home. 16 rebounds. That's the 4th highest ever. And one year, I think it was the same year there, he averaged over 5 offensive rebounds a game. That's quite a feat.
Obviously, good timing that we have chosen Larry Smith as our 50 years 50-star Warrior performer today, because Larry actually is in the building. He is an assistant coach with the Houston Rockets. It's fitting that Larry Smith has finally tasted some success in the NBA as far as victory goes after all those lean years of not making the postseason. Larry Smith, an NBA championship 2 times in a row with these Houston Rockets. Before the game, we sat down with Larry and we told him, you are one of the top 50 players in the history of the Warriors franchise. What do you think about that?
That's a great honor, Greg. I'm just, geez, thrilled to death about it.
When you look back on your time with the Warriors, moments or games, anything stick out in your mind?
Well, I can say my full duration here, I had great times. The fans really was great toward me. Management was great. It was just a great feeling being here.
You clearly were one of the best rebounders in the league during your time, but wins were hard to come by. That's why I think it's fitting that as a member of the Houston Rockets coaching staff, you've already picked up a couple of championship rings.
Yes, here in Houston, I'm in a great situation, surrounded by great people. Rudy T is just a great coach, and our staff is really good people, and it's just a thrill to be a part of it.
And now you're coaching one of the game's greatest all-time rebounders, at least inch for inch, in Charles Barkley. How does he get it done in his size, Larry? How does he get all those boards?
Well, Charles is amazing. He knows how to position himself there, and he just goes after it. The guy is extremely strong for a person's size, and he just knows how to get the ball. So we're just very, very happy to have him aboard.
How good does he make this basketball team, do you feel?
Very good, because He's another go-to guy. He can score. He can do a lot of things. He's a very good passer, and he creates situations for a lot of different teams.
Larry Smith, Mr. Mean, our 50 years, 50-star selection for today. I bet he's mean right now as Houston Rockets are playing pitifully today, especially on defense, and the Warriors lead by 13. We'll come back, rejoin Jim, show you some of the first half highlights, and show you some of the numbers. Stay with us. Houston Rockets are known around the NBA as an excellent defensive team. Well, the Warriors just went right through them. Warriors had a 24-point first quarter, a 35-point second quarter. They shot a staggering 71% from the floor. Let's go through the first half highlights, Jim, with some looks at this game. It's our Chrysler halftime highlights.
Well, it was field goal percentage. It seemed like the Warriors stretched out the defense of the Rockets. BJ knocks down a three. Joe Smith just inside the line. Had a very easy first half for him. Mark Price finishes the half on a little banker. But, you know, if you look at the Rockets, they're 4 for 17 from three-point range. When they beat the Warriors a week ago, they were 10 for 21. The Warriors were only 3 for 15, so it has been reversed. No really good reason to explain it, except Olajuwon gives you more three-point opportunities when you go down to double team and you're a little more open. Now, Mullen, very slow in the first quarter, and all of a sudden, in a span of about 2 minutes, he lit it up for 10 points, including 2 3-pointers, to finish with 16. Not bad, 7 for 8 from the field. But how about, again, Latrell Sprewell putting on another show in the first half for the fans here in San Jose. Had 24 against the Lakers. Today, he's lit it up for 21. He's also added 4 assists. He does have 5 turnovers, but he's handling the basketball an inordinate number of times. But right now, Olajuwon is sorely missed by the Houston Rockets.
The Warriors played well in the first half, folks, but not as well as the Houston Rockets allowed them to play. The Rockets were just pitiful. If it wasn't for their offensive rebounding in the first half, Jim, they pulled 12 offensive rebounds. They could be down 20 or 30 because they're not scoring, they're not defending, they're doing nothing today. Yeah,
and the Warriors are moving the basketball around, and it's almost, they're doing it with less effort. It seems like they've learned, and they're clicking. The chemistry's coming together pretty well, and their defense has been pretty good at times because the 12 offensive rebounds has enabled the Rockets to be in this game. But we're only halfway through it. This is a very veteran Houston club. You could see on their collective faces before the game, in particular his, that the Rockets were not too worked up about the early part of the game. Charles did rally later in the half to put up decent numbers, and Clyde Drexler scored 14 points, but it was quite obvious that they kind of snoozed through that first half. We'll see how they respond in the second half today. Rockets come in with one of the best records in the NBA. In fact, they and the Detroit Pistons off to a 10-1 start, only bettered by the undefeated Chicago Bulls. Jim showed you the first half brilliance of Sprewell, Mullen, and Price. Price got going late in that first half, and Drexler and Charles lead the Rockets in scoring. Joe Smith, the Warriors with a big first half, 59 points, and Joe Smith only scored 1 basket, and that came very late in the first half. Well, he hasn't been a part of the offense, but I don't think he's worried about that so much right now, simply because Sprewell and Mullen have had all the field goal attempts. But Joe Smith, look for him in the second half to kind of break out from that a little bit.
And look for Glenn Kuiper right after our ball game tonight. We'll head back inside the studios for the Sports Channel report with Glenn. He'll recap the busy day. Rivalry Saturday around college football. Rick Bucher of the Mercury News will stop by to talk hoops. And the Sharks and Red Wings will be analyzed. The Sharks are going to play a game tonight right here in the San Jose Arena.
Yes.
I believe against Anaheim.
Anaheim,
the Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
That's why we're playing this noon game today with the scheduling conflict. We're going to have quite a few of those. In fact, in the month of December, the Warriors are going to play 4 consecutive Sunday games in the afternoon. Yes, the Sharks. We don't want to give it away. Don't show that man behind the curtain, but the Sharks will be playing not too long from now, huh?
About 6 hours? I was thinking about hanging around.
Are you staying?
Well, I was thinking about it, and I'm still considering. I look at Spencer come over. Drexler had his back to the rest of the defenders.
What was the last hockey game you went to? That you and I went to the Ranger game in New York? Mullen able to get inside and score.
I've been to 1 Sharks game since then. Yeah.
We had fun at that Ranger game.
Oh,
Jim is big at the guard. He walked us right through
That's right.
Sat at center ice.
We didn't need tickets.
Didn't need. You're huge.
You know,
I was impressed.
that was a playoff.
Was
Remember that? Yeah, the Islanders and
you're
the
right.
Rangers. You know how heavy that was? Whoa.
Mariucci knocks down a three-point goal. Remember what happened at the end of the game?
Yes, I
They
do.
fought for 20 minutes.
Well, we won't go into that, but it's a different world, let's just say that, particularly in New York.
There's a foul on Drexler, and he's a little hot. Picking up another one that he would deem ticky-tack. He's been grimacing like that a few times on foul calls today. Warriors are up 61-49. We are 1 minute into the third quarter. Bryson Sprewell, Mullen, Smith, and Spencer begin the third quarter as they began the game. Another foul on the, no. 3-second violation on the Warriors across the floor. Is it on Price? No. Could be on Price. They must have meant Spencer.
Joe Smith, I believe.
Joe?
Yeah, number 32.
Yeah, it's on Joe.
It doesn't matter.
Obviously, it wouldn't be on Price. He is not staying still for 3 seconds.
The point of that possession was Sprewell drew a lot of defenders, but the Rockets rotated out. I guarantee you, Rudy talked about a little defense at halftime.
There's a basket.
Not a good start to the second half.
Fouls on Felton Spencer. Rockets trying to get a little animated here. Some of their veteran players huddling together.
Willis did not have a good offensive first half, but he is a low block scorer. And with Akeem out, he knows he's going to play a lot of minutes.
Willis misses the free throw. The Rockets huddling together, their four veterans. You could almost hear them saying, let's take it over now, guys. It's up to us. And you could almost hear earlier Charles Barkley playing referee. Listen to this.
I get away with you.
Yes, we all know he's Charles Barkley. That'll be his campaign speech when he runs for governor in a few years, huh?
Well, Charles knows that he's got a long leash in the NBA.
Well, as he says, the four most popular, most powerful figures in the NBA: David Stern, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Rod Thorne, in that order. Thorne is the man in charge of handing out points. He knows Charles well. Ellie, two-pointer, put on the line. Rockets are playing much better. You could see it, Jim. And you knew they were not going to come out quickly tonight, think of it, today being a veteran club, because the game started early, but they have maybe put on their game faces at halftime.
Yeah, they've been awakened, certainly.
Joe Smith, another miss for Joe. Mullen able to tip it, but no teammate there to take it. Barkley telling Drexler, watch out behind. Mullen's up your back. Those three guys were a part of the original Dream Team. And Charles was on a second Dream Team this past offseason. Charles missing the three-pointer. Mullen in traffic, able to come up with the catch. Lob to Joe, and Joe's going to score an easy one. Didn't look like it was going to be easy initially, Jim, as that was a tough pass in traffic, but they kind of left Joe alone around the goal. 64-53. Drexler. Finally, the Rockets run their inside-out game effectively. It's taken them a while. Again, with Olajuwon out, they're all in different roles today.
Well, if Willis had been hitting right from the start, probably Adelman would have gone to a double team. They'd have more wide open shots inside out. Would have been more effective.
Barkley out to Clyde for a three. Cuts the Warrior lead down to 8. Timeout called by Rick Adelman.
Well, the 13-point Warrior halftime lead has been trimmed to just 8. But Joe Smith, who only had 3 first-half points, scores inside on an easy hoop. As Spencer just moves Kevin Willis out of the way. Just simply took him right out of the lane.
Warriors led by 13 at half, led by 16 late in the second quarter. Shot clock under 10. Latrell Sprewell lost the dribble against Drexler. Into Mullen. Well defended by Ellie. Picked up by Willis. The Rockets play much better defensively. Joe Smith late. It's a 24-second violation. The Rockets did not play that type of defense at all in the first half.
And you have to wonder if they'll bring in Bullard in that situation. somewhere in the second half. Certainly not on Mullen, because that's when Mullen just exploded.
You know what really hurt them when Drexler picked up his second foul early on and Clyde picked up the technical, and they both had to leave the game simultaneously. But now they're in and they're working in rhythm. Clyde inside to Charles, and he draws a foul, and he'll be on the line for 2 free throws.
A little two-man game. Drexler and Barkley. Now watch what happens. Sprewell initially takes Charles Barkley, then he tried to get in front to try to prevent a pass, but Barkley with that wide body gave Drexler too much of an angle to get it in.
Number 4 on Felton. We're just 3 minutes into the second half. Most of the player movement this year in the offseason came via free agency, but on August the 19th, we had a good old-fashioned blockbuster trade. Charles from Phoenix to Houston, Jim, and the Rockets gave up 4 guys: Chucky Brown, Mark Bryant, Sam Cassell, and Robert Horry.
Plus a second-round draft choice, I believe.
The second-round draft pick went to Houston.
Yes.
They got Barkley plus a second-round draft pick in '99. Wait a minute, the draft's not even going to be around in '99. what the heck is that? I bet that'll become money or something later. Sprewell. Somebody's got to tell Houston, call off the trade, and somebody better call off Mario Elliott. It is 64 to 59.
Rick's still encouraging his club, but certainly they've lost now 8 points of that 13-point halftime lead.
Look at Barkley's activity. Price will pick up a good foul. Price looked back like he was annoyed with the referee, but actually that's a big break for the Warriors.
Barkley's only 2 for 4 from the line. He will get 2 free throws because this is a situation where Barkley was ahead. Again, Sprewell just had, it's not so much that the ball is being deflected, he's just losing the ball of his own volition, almost like the ball is slippery.
And here's Barkley's steal.
That's a pretty good steal.
And a good foul by Price. He was not going to stop Charles. So Barkley has to be smiling these days after that trade. His club at 10-1, one of the best teams in the NBA, and the Phoenix Suns, his old club, the worst team in the league, the only team yet to win a game. And I'm shocked by that.
I was going to use the same word, shocked, because the players that Houston gave up were not fringe players. I mean, Robert Horry, Sam Cassell. I've always liked Mark Bryant.
Chucky Brown's not bad. Maybe you get him outside of Elijah Wan's help, and they become less than they were in Houston. Look at the Rockets just take the game away. And that time they took the ball away literally. Barkley thought about it, had a better option to get it into Clyde. The Rockets have cut the lead down to a 1-point lead. I mean, in a blink of an eye, a 10-0 run. The Warriors' 16-point lead is almost completely gone. And we're just 4 minutes in to the third quarter. And the Rockets are chirping because they are playing very well now, finally. Rockets have outscored the Warriors 17-4 in the first 4 minutes of the third quarter to get themselves back into the game. We'll show it to you at 7 o'clock tonight, the 99th annual big game. Stanford and California right here on Sports Channel at 7 tonight.
Well, the story of the game in the second half, 9 turnovers for Houston in the first half. They haven't turned the ball over once in the second half. The Warriors, in contrast, have turned it over 5 times. Ellie made that steal, and the Rockets have scored 9 points off of those 5 turnovers. I mean, there's your turnaround. You can't score if you don't get shots at the goal, and you simply turn the ball over. And when you turn the ball over so often, it leads to an easy shot at the other end, and that's what's happened.
Almost another turnover. Jim Mullen able to avoid it, and now he'll go for the antithesis of a turnover, a 3-point play. Fouls on Kevin Willis, his second of the afternoon.
You're right, that was almost turnover number 6 in the first 5.5 minutes. Had Barkley stayed with it, he might have gotten it, but Mullen did an excellent job of picking it. He's got good hands. The good hands just got him the ball back and then focusing right on the basket.
Matt Maloney plays point guard for the Rockets. Clyde Drexler is the big guard, Mariota small forward, Charles Barkley power forward, and Kevin Willis center for the injured Elijah Wan. And they hope to get a team back sometime next week. They're going to play the Lakers tomorrow, and LA will likely miss that game. Drexler, a three-point goal. Clyde, a big day, has already poured in 22, 1 week after torching the Warriors for big numbers in the last meeting in Houston when he went for 33. Joe Smith not able to move effectively there, but the basketball does when you make a pass like that. Mullen off the ball scores.
If you turn your head on Mullen, he knows exactly where to beat you. He knows exactly the route to take. Well, so did Kevin Willis.
Yeah. That may be Chicago's toughest early game. They're going to play in Salt Lake City tonight. Chicago's had a relatively easy schedule so far. They've not beaten any of the real heavyweights yet. But tonight they must play well. Sprewell misses. The Clark into the game for Spencer. He misses. Clyde slipped down. Looked like he was on a fast break in the NHL.
He made a great recovery, didn't he? Oh, this is a bad play inside.
And Barkley gets fouled by Joe.
A weak side cut. No one challenges. And once again, Drexler finds Barkley, but I love this. Watch him come up. Boy, he tried to turn the corner. Stop on a dime, give 9 cents change. He came right back up, though.
We got to take Clyde in and have his skate sharpened.
Tough to see how Barkley made that cut from the weak side, but again, when you turn your head as a defender and you lose concentration, just like Mullen did, good players make cuts to the hoop.
Barkley can tie the game and then give Houston their first lead of the afternoon. Charles Barkley never played with a defensive team like this in Phoenix. I mean, those Phoenix Suns teams were great offensively, but just miserable defensively. It's going to be interesting to watch him play with this bunch, Jim. Ellie, Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon. This team defends.
And the first half was just like the Phoenix clubs that he played
Absolutely,
on.
porous.
Just let the Warriors get all kinds of shots. But they turn it around here without Olajuwon in the second half. They're just challenging every pass, and they're also challenging away from the ball. They're not letting people. Mullen made a nice move a moment ago, but there's a double team here. Maloney gets out of place a little.
Barkley dives on to Clark late. Barkley admits he doesn't play much defense. A lot of talking. And I was talking in the area of the Warrior bench. Maybe he'll play a little harder defensively this year with this group.
When he wants to.
That's the good side of the Joe afternoon. The downside, he's only scored 5 points himself. Warriors are down 1 now midway through this third quarter. Price missing a 3.
DeClerc was fighting him all the way. I don't think there's much you could do about that.
19-5, Rocket run, and they go up by 3. DeClerc misses from point-blank range.
He missed one, a crucial one, in the overtime period at Utah the other night. Almost the same type of play, except it was a lot easier than that one, but he went with the left hand. You know, he's got to learn to finish better inside. I think he just rushes it a little bit. You don't have, you know, that'll come with experience.
Rockets have already scored 26 points in this half. We have 5.5 minutes to go in the half. They only had 46 at halftime. What they're doing is they're playing such strong defense, it's just opened it up for easy points on the offensive end. Shot clock is fresh here.
That was close to a 5-second violation. Mullen barely got it in.
Sprewell forcing a 3. Tough shot. Barkley, look at that rebound. Look at that play. Oh, man. Barkley didn't even hit the ground when he threw that ball. What an outlet pass by Barkley.
Strength and awareness.
That would impress even Wesley Unseld. Barkley may have a triple-double today before it's all done. He has 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Joel missed the dunk, and here they come again. Matt Maloney will go to the free throw line, followed by Mark Price. As bad as the Rockets were in the first half, that's how strong they have been in the third quarter. Does he land? No, he didn't land.
No, that's see how much strength he has. He was off the floor and just threw a rifle.
Rick Adelman just picked up a technical foul. That may be his first of the year. I believe it is.
He was upset that Joe Smith did not get to the line at the other end. And so was Mark Price, by the way. When Mark Price committed that foul on Maloney a moment ago, first thing he told the official was, how about the other end?
A good time to pick up a technical because the Warriors have seen the game just taken away from them.
Let's watch Kevin Willis. You see that? An arm into Joe, prevented him from getting all the way. The left arm, though, had Willis not put the left arm up, I think it would have been okay. But he held the left arm out there into the forearm, right to the chest of Joe, and prevented him from moving to the hoop.
Well, he made the technical, and now Matt Maloney shoots 2 free throws. I'm still stunned by what Barkley did. And folks, just go out in front of the house today. Try to throw a basketball 70 feet, standing still. Take a running start and try to throw one 70. It's hard.
It is hard.
Hey, try to do it when you're falling. After getting a rebound, you won't throw it 20 feet.
I could not do that.
That was amazing.
Physically, Greg, I'm
telling you.
Physically could not do
How many
that.
people could?
I saw Gus Johnson do it in college at the University of Idaho. He was the first guy I ever saw do it. Take it off the board and turn around, and he did it with 2 hands.
With 2 hands?
Wes Unseld could do it too. Wes Unseld.
Sprewell, a 3-point goal. Warriors needed that basket desperately. Now what the Warriors have to do is just put this last 8 minutes of horror away and play right now. They're down only 4. Long way to go. Still 16 minutes to play today. Barkley tells Clyde to go right through. They're not going to double me.
Taylor takes his time. He knows there's no hurry.
It's coming. It's coming.
Exactly. Then you take the spot.
Clyde on the weak side. An open 3. Rebounded by Joe Smith. Oh, beautifully done. Look at that. Mullen and Price.
They're not going to lay down.
Right off the hip. He dropped it for Price. Price little head fake in the pullback. Price has double figures. Sprewell and Mullen, 24 and 23 respectively. Willis double. Oh, offensive foul on Kevin Willis. He struggled today. That's his 3rd foul already.
Last play. Perfect 2-man game. And a great result.
Warriors can retie it here. Sprewell away from the double, but he missed the shot. Another rebound for Barkley. Remember, he didn't have any rebounds midway through the 2nd quarter. He has 10 now for the game.
He's got 3 in succession off of a missed free throw. When he completed, well, he didn't make the 3-point play because he missed the free throw.
Little extra passing here. They find the open guy. Maloney, no. Barkley, his teammate Willis almost took that away from Charles.
See, you can learn something by that. Charles, great offensive rebound. Didn't try to take it right back up. Didn't have the angle. Pulled it back out.
He's wide. Oh, he waited a long time. He had the shot, Barkley. Now he'll get 2 free throws. Foul on Andrew DeClerc. DeClerc's 3rd of the game.
You can't go for that fake with a veteran. You've got to stay down on the ground. I know it's tempting. Now watch the pump fake. There it is again. And then Barkley knows how to come into you. He makes a lot of shots when he gets fouled like that because of his strength.
Offensively, even at age 33, he'll be 34 in mid-February. The guy just has so many ways to beat you. In fact, Jim, earlier this year, he became the 4th player in the history of the league to pick up 20,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 3,500 assists. I mean, that's the way he can do everything offensively, score himself. If he misses, get the ball back for his team, and also pass out of a double team. Emmanuel Davis in for the Rockets. The other 3, not bad players either.
You know, I think I'm trying to think of the great rebounders who have been 6'6". Elgin Baylor comes to mind.
In fact, he's one of the 4 with those numbers.
Okay, and Gus Johnson at his height, at 6'6", was a tremendous, powerful rebounder. And I mentioned him a moment ago because I saw him make a pass like that with 2 hands while he was in college. But guys usually, they put up those kinds of numbers. Rebounds, they're bigger than 6'6".
Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the other 2 players on that list of 4. Adrian Dantley, at 6'4", 6'5" or so, was a great inside scorer, but he wasn't the rebounder of Barkley's ilk. Oh, Price bombs a long 3. Price playing much better late in the third quarter. Right now, Sprewell, Price, and Mullen keeping the Warriors reachable and down only a point. There goes Clyde. He almost fell again.
Well, that's good rotation. See, Price is up top now on Sam Mack.
Throwaway with the Rockets. Take it back. Willis, early shot. No. Drexler. Couple of tips. Barkley out of bounds. DeClerc, he can't save. He fought hard for it. Where'd he wind up? In row 3.
What this tells you,
look at Barkley saying, you're playing hard, man.
But watch this. This is a little bit of frustration, thinking you can't get the ball. Inside play, see that DeClerc just says, I'm going to knock it out of there. I don't care if we can't get it because I don't want them to put it back. It is a good effort. I don't want the Rockets to get another offensive rebound and get an easy 2. Drexler out-battled him for that rebound. Out-battled DeClerc initially. And DeClerc had inside position the first time around.
Rockets have made only one player change this third quarter. Emmanuel Davis in for Matt Maloney. The other 4 veteran players stay out there. And they're likely to play heavy minutes. Ellie lost the ball. He wanted to shoot. It was taken away. Wanted to pass. Then it was taken away. Warriors can reclaim the lead here. Oh, Sprewell! What a spin! Does he have figure skates on?
The thing about it, he was always under control and ready for the defense to make the extra pass. What a beautiful play. I mean, a beautiful play. And it wasn't easy.
That was a Brian Boitano pass. Warriors go back up 1. Shot clock's at 2. Charles got to chuck it. No, what's the offensive foul? Illegal defense on the Warriors. Adelman's going to go wild here. They call it illegal defense with a shot clock at 1.
That's a pretty tough call.
But it wasn't like they weren't illegal earlier. Why did they call it earlier? Mario Elie can tie the game at 79. We're going to have a timeout here. Good third quarter. We're going to have a really good fourth quarter. 79 to 79, folks. With 1 minute and 18 seconds to go in the third. Here's the Sprewell move. Look at this. Nice little spin to Andrew. Tie ball game. 78 seconds to play in the third quarter. What do you got for me, Jim? Something good?
Well, the shot clock was winding down, and illegal defense was called. Watch what happens here. Now, Barkley has the ball. Willis is going to rotate out. DeClerc, if you stop it right here, he stays in this no man's land. He doesn't go over there, and he doesn't go and double team the ball. He becomes the culprit. Now, Mullen is pointing. Mullen is pointing, go out and double team. I'll pick up Willis, but DeClerc doesn't get the signal.
Should he stay or should he go now? That's what the Rockets do to you. Sprewell was caught in the same pickle earlier in the game. They do such a good job of spreading out the weak side and spotting up their players for three-point shots. You can't be in 2 places at once in the NBA. You have to either guard your man or double the other guy. Othella Harrington is now into the game for the Rockets. It'll be telling to see what happens to Houston's attack when they begin to bring some of their younger bench players in the game. People like the rookie Harrington. Barkley and Drexler and Elie stay out there. Shot clock at 10. Back into Charles. Good play by Elie. Very patient, and Drexler's open for a 3. That's a veteran team for you.
Again, and he put it down with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Clyde needs new sneakers here. He's gone down 3 times. He all right?
They might be too new. Although Michael Jordan wears a new pair every night, which is remarkable to me. I like to get them worn a little bit.
If this was the NFL, they'd be going in for the longer cleats, but what do you do in basketball? Othella Harrington has called for the foul. Clyde's had a good third quarter, huh? Scored 13 points this quarter. Drexler has 27. In fact, if he continues at this rate, Clyde may have an historic day. He came into the game needing 39 points to become the 24th player in the history of the NBA to score 20,000 points. And the other 2 great Hall of Fame Rockets have already made 20,000 points. Barkley and Olajuwon are already there and beyond.
That is an incredible number. You know,
20,000.
20,000. Has a nice ring to it.
Ewing picked that up on Tuesday. Harrington scores.
Tell you the truth, I thought 10,000 had a nice ring to it.
Of course it did.
But, you know, I could never get the bell to sound.
Delay a game. Now, 20,000 points in the NBA is kind of like 3,000 hits in baseball. When you say almost the same amount of people, about 20 have made it. Of course, they played baseball for 100 years. Basketball only 50, so maybe it's not quite comparable.
I would agree to it, but I know our statistician, David Feldman,
what does he know about baseball?
He's a baseball aficionado. He would say no.
He's still working on the count. It's 4 balls and you walk. Oh. Price gets the roll. Price has 17. There's your last play of the third quarter. Clyde. Ooh, almost one step closer to 20 grand. That one was online, just a little bit off. We're going to have a good fourth quarter today. The Rockets have 86 and the Warriors have 82 after 36 minutes of play. The Rockets today. Rockets scored only 46 in the first half, but a 40-point explosion in that third quarter, and they have a 4-point lead. Let's check out our Discover Card NBA notebook before we begin this fourth quarter. The name of Pat Riley's book, his latest book, The Winner Within. And I guess so, Jim, the last 14 straight years. I think every year he's coached in the NBA, he's had a winning team.
And I'm trying to think. Every season he's won at least 50 games, I believe.
Not last year.
There was one year.
Not last year.
That was it.
And the thing was before last year, I believe he won his division every single year. Pat Riley, the ultimate winner in the NBA, along with new point guard Tim Hardaway. Hardaway's first Bay Area appearance since the trade of last February. Alonzo Mourning will be here. Dan Marley giving the Miami Heat better defense. He'll be here. And we'll be here for you on Tuesday, 7:30, right here on Sports Channel. Clyde Drexler, after a great third quarter, he scored 13 of their 40 in that quarter alone to run his total to 27 for the day. He's going to rest here early in the fourth. Barkley will not rest. We talked to Tom Janovich before the game about Barkley's minutes, and he admitted he's playing far too many of them. Over 41 minutes a game he's playing. And we'll explain. Part of the reason has been some foul trouble on some of his teammates. Barkley's been forced to. That's a wasn't anyway. Wasn't a goaltend. Ofella Harrington gets out and runs, and it's 88-82.
Another turnover. Now Price, I thought had a chance to hit Mullen or maybe even finish his shot, but it was a very crisp pass inside and not a lot of room for DeClercq to catch.
Price, 3-pointer for Mark Price. Price has 20 points, Jim. He may have your, what were you saying, 28-point game or something?
Well, that's the first time this season he's been on 20. Previous high was 19.
Warriors have hit 8 3-pointers today. Price has 3 of them. Barkley lost it. What do they have, a foul?
No. The Warriors just lost it out of bounds, but a great defensive stop by Joe Smith. He did not get lulled into fouling Charles Barkley, but then again, watch what happens after he tries to inbound the ball or throw it back because he's falling out of bounds. See him give ground. Now watch. DeClercq's not ready to catch again. You've got to bend your knees, first of all, and have your hands up. He could feel that Joe was going to fall out of bounds.
Before Joe could get rid of it, he stepped on the end line. They may not reset the shot clock here. That's what they're debating. And Barkley's saying, Joe had it long enough, give us 24 seconds, but they're not going to do that. The shot clock is going to be at 8. That Bullard is in, matched up with Mullen again, Jim. Lefty Harrington, no good. Oh, score is given up again. They can't clear the defensive rebound. And Bullard, oh man, he blew a layup. Tries 3 times. This was hockey. We'd say the Rockets are forechecking very well. Warriors can't clear it out of their own zone. Minute 20 into the fourth quarter. If Bullard's going to guard Mullen, well, first of all, I'll be surprised. And second of all, they're going to torch him again. He was just lit by Mullen in the second quarter.
He won't be so apt to go out on a double team.
And he waits and scores. The Rockets go up 5. Yeah, Bullard's going to guard Mullen. You got to run some plays for Chris.
Run him off some screens.
And Sprewell shoots. Rebound to Barkley. Barkley has a triple-double today. His 19th career triple-double. His first in almost exactly a year. And add a triple to his triple-double. Three-pointer for the Chuckster, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists.
Now he's in his realm.
And he took the first quarter off.
And I knew he was going to shoot a three-pointer down there. You could just see him with the rhythm coming up the floor, and then he had something to say to the fans. This is his type of situation now.
His numbers after the first quarter, 5 points and no rebounds and no assists. So he's done this essentially in 2 quarters of play. Donald Royal, you see him holding his wrist. He sprained that wrist, making a great block on Jamie Watson Thursday in Salt Lake City.
The Warriors need a score here because they don't want to get down double digits. They're up by 8 or down by 8 right now. And the Rockets seem to score every time.
Goaltending on Barkley. Took the bucket to Sprewell. Rick Adelman is forced to take Mullen off the floor as Mullen needs a break here early in the 4th quarter, so we will not be having the Mullen-Bullard matchup we anticipated. Joe went for the steal, didn't work. Barkley will shoot 2 free throws after missing, and he's a little upset about it. I wonder if he overacted like this in Space Jam. We'd have to give him a thumbs down if he did.
That was stretching it.
A little bit too much, huh? Cut, let's try it again.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to stop. Now Joe goes for the steal. Barkley knows exactly where to go, to the rim. And I thought he was going to lay off just with crouching down. As he drops out of your picture, he dropped clear off the floor. Rolled into the Warrior grill.
And that's where the acting in a motion picture would go, Jim, on the cutting room floor. Barkley had to change his number this year. Were 34 previously, but Olajuwon has 34. Word is Olajuwon's okay. They were quite scared, obviously, early in the week when his heart began to beat once again irregularly, something that has happened twice in his career. He has arrhythmia.
It's amazing because a lot of people have that same type of atrial fibrillation is what it's called. Yes, it's irregular heartbeat. But he was okay.
Blocked. Good block there on a help out from Emmanuel Davis.
They say 2 million Americans have that same type of problem, but it scared me when I read in USA Today that 3,600 die each year. I said, well, it's okay, but I don't want to be one of the 3,600.
Well, Hank Anders had that. And of course, ultimately, he did pass away on the floor due to cardiac arrest. Terry Cummings, of the, formerly the Milwaukee Bucks.
Eric Murdoch.
Eric Murdoch has it. Cummings, they always worried about it. He took special medication to control it, but it never acted up during a game. Word is the Rockets will have Akeem back sometime next week. They play Portland at home on Tuesday. Then they get a road trip Friday in Boston. And they think they may be able to beat Portland without him, so we'll see how they play it. Without Olajuwon, they are still a dominant rebounding team. And again, this team, the last several years, has been a poor rebounding team ever since they traded Otis Thorpe for Drexler. Royal right off his chest.
That was a bad
Pass by BJ.
BJ just got up in the air, and the defense was too good.
Warriors have gone to the bench a little bit here, but they've kept Joe Smith and Sprewell on the floor, their starters. And they are just not playing well enough to beat this team in the 4th quarter. Barkley, his 11th assist of the game. What a monster for Charles. And the Rockets go up by 9, their largest lead of the game. Sprewell. Rebound, Barkley tips, and it's taken by teammate Emmanuel Davis, backup point guard. Has a great nickname. They call him Email because he's faster than a speeding megabyte. Another assist for Barkley. No, BJ will deprive him of one as he wraps up Ovella Harrington. Second foul on BJ, Jim.
A moment ago, BJ was beaten as his man made a cut. Let's watch BJ right here as his man goes down the lane. Now see, stop it there. BJ needs to open up this way. In other words, he needs, instead of following the man through, looking at the ball, if you open up and do a reverse pivot, in other words, put your back to the man without the ball, the man you're guarding, then the pass is very rarely made. And you just, you're wider there, and you make a steal. You saw also how he was picked off by his own man. His own man's got to open up there. Almost got a screen from his own teammate.
And the Warriors have to come alive here. Charles Barkley and the Rockets dominating the second half. Warriors are down 9 with 8 minutes to go.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, we all know that Charles Barkley has never won an NBA championship, but according to Warriors guard B.J. Armstrong, Barkley would love to win one so he can be like Mike.
Well, I kind of gotten to know Charles over the years and spending some time with him and watching how he interacts with Michael and how Michael jabs him, you know, time and time again on vacations, on the trips that we spent together over the summer. Charles wants an NBA championship, and that's his motivation right now, and I think he's positioned himself probably as good as he possibly can over the off season to get himself really a legitimate chance to win a championship. And I know he wants it, and I know deeply how badly he's thirsting that chance to, you know, be crowned, you know, victor at the end of the season.
Now, coming up after the game on the Sports Channel Report, Rick Bucher's NBA Connection will have more on Charles Barkley, so join us for that. Right now, let's get back to second half action, Warriors and Rockets.
And there's no question that Charles Barkley orchestrated that trade from Phoenix. He almost dared Jerry Colangelo to finally make the trade, Jim, insulting the organization beyond repair. He had to go. And I think it's no surprise that he went to the Houston Rockets. You look at Barkley's years in Phoenix, his second year there and his third year there of a 4-year run. The Rockets were the team that knocked him out of the playoffs each time in the second round and each time in a Game 7. I think he has great admiration, in particular for Hakeem Olajuwon. Wanted to play with him.
I have to agree. I also think he knew time was running out for everyone concerned.
Joe Smith, time may be running out on the Warriors if they don't shoot better and score more here. They had scored just 4 points in the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. And for Joe, that's only his third basket of the game. He has 7 points.
Well, their field goal percentage hasn't been that bad in the second half. It's just that they've had so many turnovers, and they've been unable to stop the Rockets.
Boy, Barkley was never doubled that time, and he got very, very close and missed a shot. You won't see that very often.
If they win this game today, the Warriors, they're going to have to play defense like they did against Utah.
And start doing it immediately. They triple team Springwell. Somebody's open, and it's Joe Smith. Whoa. Pulled the string on that one. They haven't seen Joe shoot that poorly, that open ever.
It's almost like he aimed the ball. He had so much time. I think he shoots better with a little bit of soft defense. So he has to work for that shot a little bit.
And they don't double team Barkley.
Well, Joe's played it pretty well, actually, in a half-court set.
Royal left Bullard, and Bullard misses a 3. Rebound, Sprewell. Warriors race up the floor. Royal, tough shot, got it. 96-91 now. The Warriors within 5.
Donald Royal will score consistently like that on finishing a fast break. He knows how to get it to the rim.
Mullen is going to come back in for the Rockets, for the Warriors. Clyde Drexler for the Rockets. Charles Barkley is not rested in the second half. He's played the whole game. And we spoke to Tom Janovich about that before, and he said, I don't want him playing 41 minutes a night, but because of foul trouble in certain matchups, he has had to play the whole game. Clyde Drexler, who plays about 35 minutes a night, will come back in now for the final 6:20. In fact, Barkley, when they played the Lakers, their only loss of the year, in double overtime, played the entire game, all 58 minutes. He has to shoot here or pass quickly. He goes with the shot, and it's blocked. 24-second violation. The Warriors are very much in the game now. 6 minutes to play, and the Warriors are down 5.
And they're playing much better interior defense. This is the way it looked 2 nights ago in Utah. That's less than 48 hours.
Well, let's see what kind of legs Barkley has at age 33 to play the entire game, at least the entire second half, I should say. He's only rested 3 minutes today. Sprewell makes it a 3-point game.
So when he makes a decision to go up, he gets up so quickly that the defender, in that case Drexler, never even left the floor.
Warriors have scored 6 straight points. Sprewell takes it away from Drexler.
BJ got a little hesitant. He was concerned about a turnover because they had the numbers 4-3.
They double Sprewell. Soft skip pass, almost stolen. Joe Schmidt scores! Warriors getting some breaks here. 8-0 run. Rudy T wants a T. Warriors trying to take down one of the NBA powers. The Rockets are 10-1 this early year. The Warriors are 3-8. Spend Thanksgiving week and Thanksgiving night with us right here on Sports Channel. We'll have Miami and the return of Hardaway on Tuesday, and we'll actually have turkey together, all of us, next Thursday night. That's Thanksgiving night when the Nets are in. Then we'll be on KICU on Friday for the Warriors' second matchup of the year with the Portland Trailblazers, Jim. 8-0 Warrior run. They're back within one.
Great defense on Charles Barkley. Donald Royal gets the shot. The ball goes out of bounds, but the 24-second violation had occurred. Now Sprewell, who had just scored on Drexler. Drexler tried to return the favor, but Sprewell picks his pocket. And then, nice play by Sprewell. That was the previous play as he scored on Drexler.
Emmanuel Davis still playing as the backup point guard. Likewise for the Warriors, B.J. Armstrong, Maloney, and Price are resting. Willis doubled. Ellie thought about it, then nailed it as Sprewell went down to the floor.
Well, you saw the huge disparity on that graphic. Only one offensive rebound for the Warriors, but when you shoot 70% plus in the first half, there aren't any to be had.
That really is remarkable, though. And the Warriors have cooled off in the second half. They're down to 65% for the game, but to only have one offensive rebound out of a combined 215 minutes for all your players, that's remarkable. That really is a statement of how well the Rockets have defensive rebounded today also. And they do have a rebounding edge in total of 10. 3-point Rocket lead. 4:40 to play. Mark Price still resting. DJ plays, at least for now. Sprewell double. Shot clock under 10. Not a good offensive set. Joe Schmidt takes an impossible shot. Mullen on the second offensive rebound, but did he have it long enough to get it? We'll have to wait and see what the statisticians say. Well, he didn't have it very long.
If he hadn't come over, Donald Royal had perfect position, and I thought he even thought he was going to get an easy two.
The Rockets just threw that ball away. Just threw it away.
DJ poked it.
Sprewell. Royal, offensive rebounds, a few more here late. Rockets get out of it unscored upon. As Jim pointed out, the Rockets didn't throw it away a moment ago. It was B.J. knocking it away. Warriors need that type of defense here. Shot clock under 8 now. They're going away from Barkley a little bit, maybe to rest him. Ellie, miss. Loose ball foul. It is on Emmanuel Davis. He's going to be leaving now. They're going to bring in Matt Maloney. B.J. Armstrong also leaves. Mark Price returns. The starting point guards are in for the last 3 minutes and 36 seconds. I think every moment Price has been on the floor. Maloney's been on the floor to match up, and the backups have matched up all day. Sprewell against Clyde. You know, he beat him with quickness, could not make the shot, though. Barkley's 13th rebound. Sprewell just 4 points in the fourth quarter on 2 of the 6 shooting.
No double.
And it's no basket, at least not yet. Big rebound for Joe.
So Joe's done his part. Now, maybe not offensively, but he's done a great job on Barkley here in the fourth quarter.
Spencer's shot.
Well, he had plenty of time to get there. Wound up, put it on the floor. You knew exactly where he was going to take it, and Barkley met him right at the top.
Kevin Willis is becoming the go-to guy here as Barkley gets some wind. That's all right for the Warriors. Willis is not nearly as proficient in there. That was a bad jump hook. Mullen, a tie game!
fans here something to cheer about late in a ball game against a top-rate team.
Now it goes into Barkley. And he stepped right through a double team. Boy, he got very stubbornly bullish there. Barkley, even though the double came, he was going to shoot the ball that time, and he gets himself on the free throw line.
He just got determined to push Smith right out of the play. Now watch him push as he even turns. Watch that left shoulder. Now that's an offensive foul. I'm sorry, but that's an offensive foul.
Here's the Mullen game-tying three. Mullen has made all 3 of his threes today. Chris Mullen is 11 for 12 from the floor. 11 for 12. Barkley breaks the tie. 99-98 Houston. Here's that Barkley block on Felton Spencer a moment ago.
I'll tell you, he got it cleanly. There was a lot of space between his body and Felton's.
Barkley is not a very good defender, does not work at it all the time, but when he wants to, he can pick his moments and make a big defensive play.
Well, he can sky. He can get off the floor and he's a quick jumper. Picks up 2 free throws, and I really think that was a gift.
Barkley said when he was traded, I'd be disappointed if we don't win 60 games this year. The club record is 58. If they win today, they go to 11-1, and they're up a bucket. Under 2 minutes to play. Price for a tie. Oh, boy, the rims weren't needed on that shot. He just drained it.
All he needs is a half step, particularly if he's going to the right and his defender's trailing from the left.
Drexler. Oh, what a shootout. 102 to 100. Drexler has 29 points.
To run the same play for Price. Bring over a guy. Surprised he didn't bring a big man.
Oh, long one by Price. What a notch! He goes back grinning.
I'll tell you, that's a great call from Adelman to put Price alongside Sprewell. They knew they'd double team Sprewell, and it left Price a little bit of room.
Timeout, Rockets. His brother, normally he'd be very happy for his older brother Mark, but right now Brent and his Rockets are down a point after Price dropped a 3 on him.
Shot set up though. You see, it's here they're lulling the Rockets into a 2-man game or a double team on Sprewell. They set that up beautifully. In fact, I think Price probably could have been a little more open. Sprewell gave it back to him very quickly. He did not want to risk a turnover as Drexler came down to double.
Chris Mullen has hit his last 6 shots. Mark Price his last 9. Maybe the Warriors will find a way to score in the half court today and win this game. They're up a point. Rockets go first. And they go to the man. Barkley, no. Rebound, Spencer. 1:10 to go.
That was a great rebound by Felton Spencer and a tremendous defensive stop on Barkley.
Barkley's missed his last 4 shots.
Here's the same play.
This time he drives it into Felton. Up. Oh, yeah! 3-point play!
And Barkley doesn't get the call. He's on the floor, and the foul's on him. He wanted a charge. There's the stop on Barkley. Spencer does a little tap dancing at this end of the floor. Spencer.
You know, I really believe that Barkley's a little gassed here. Barkley has not rested in the second half at all, and he's missed 4 shots that normally he makes late in the game, getting good position, is very tight, and has not been able to make them.
Well, he was giving the offensive charge sign to the officials. Rudy Tomjanovich wants a timeout, but Barkley had his hand behind his head telling the officials that was a charge.
Tomjanovich calling a lot of timeouts. 2 reasons. His team is down 4. He needs to talk it over. Plus, he's got to give Barkley a rest here, as Barkley has played the entire second half and all but 3 minutes in this game. That's Felton Spencer 3-point play, his biggest moment yet as a Warrior, as the Warriors go up 4 now with 1 minute to go.
Well, we talked about how well Felton played in Houston. Here he makes this basket, getting the foul on Barkley, and Felton Spencer played a season-high 24 minutes just a week ago, had season-high 10 points, didn't miss a field goal, and he was had 2 free throws in that game, and a season-high 8 rebounds. So obviously, Whether it's Olajuwon, Kevin Willis, or Barkley, he likes to meet the Houston Rockets.
Warriors were blasting the Rockets early on. Had a very good first half, led by 13 at halftime. For the Rockets, a dominant third quarter. And it was the Rockets that led by 9 points, 8 minutes to play. But the Warriors, they were not playing very well early in the fourth quarter, but they had just taken the game over. In the last 6.5 minutes or so, the Warriors have outscored the Houston Rockets 19-6.
This is the type of game they need to win, coming down the stretch, because they've been denied so often. In Utah, heartbreaking loss the other night. You can just see that they wilted in overtime because they thought they had the game won. Against the Lakers here at home, the last home game, they played a tremendous game, just didn't quite finish the game. If they can finish this game, now they're building on something. And I'll tell you what, that guy, Mark Price, struggled. You can't write him off. Look at how all of a sudden he's acclimated himself, and he's as confident as anybody on the floor. He's as confident as Charles Barkley right now.
Mark Price has had a wonderful offensive game. Right now, the Warriors need defense. If they stop the Rockets here, this might be their game today. But if the Rockets do score, we're going to have many more big moments to endure. Ellie's going to inbound. Barkley, as always, goes left block, and Willis goes away. Right into Barkley. No fooling around this time. And they're not going to double team him, and Barkley's on the line. Oh, pardon me, they had a foul to give. They had a foul to give. That'll be their one foul they can give. They gave it early. 54.7. They're going to put him on the line anyway. If Adelman did not already have a technical, and if the 1 point was not so important, he'd go wild here. But they are going to put Barkley on the line.
Out of the timeout, Rick Adelman reminded the players, if the guy's going to get an easy hoop, grab him. Now, Joe Smith is trying to all the time. See, the first one they didn't call. He was trying to grab him to get the foul. And Rick Adelman is showing disbelief, and I don't blame him because I have the same kind of emotion. And that may be, I'll tell you why that call was there. It's precipitated by the Felton Spencer dunk, or excuse me, layup, and they called the foul on Barkley, so Barkley gets his way at the other end.
And it's also respect. Barkley has it, and the Warriors at 3 and 8 do not have it. And those things come into the minds of the referees. They won't admit it. But you can just see it. Barkley got one, only one. Warriors are up 3.
That's a good trade. I go right back with Price over here in the two-man game again. And they may do the same thing with Sprewell and Mark. Right now it's just one-on-one.
They want to shoot this right at the end of the clock.
Here it is.
And they throw it away. Price did not shoot. He passed. Ellie steals. No, man, he got the shot. And Mullen fouled him. You would think it would have to be one or the other. But Mario Ellie made a circus shot. The Rockets can tie it if he makes the free throw. Man, you can read that one very clearly. Did he get all ball? I can't believe Ellie made the shot.
I can't either. Now Price just simply gave it up to the wrong man. Ellie steps in. Now watch the hands of Mullen. Well, he got a ball, but then it came down on the wrist. They also probably called the left hook. But I don't know how he made the shot either.
For the Warrior hopes and their collective psyche, you really kind of hope they win this game today after what happened to them in Salt Lake City. This one would not feel much better. Foul. They fouled Mark Price. And the Rockets don't have any fouls to give. That's a bad mistake by Matt Maloney in the backcourt to put Price, the greatest free thrower in the history of the league, on the line with 27.8 seconds to go.
Now, that was a great break for the Warriors. First of all, you get a chance to score, because if they hadn't scored and the Rockets cleared the board,
they win the game. They come back to win the game.
Exactly. It's like Utah the other night, except they've got the advantage because they don't have to score to go to overtime. They could just simply win the game. And now Mark Price can put all the pressure on Houston again.
And even if Houston scores, Jim, say they score 3, unless it's done an offensive rebound, the Warriors will have time to have the last reply. Funny how we just assume he's going to make every free throw. We hardly even watch. He made the first one. He made the second one with a rattle. And the Warriors go up 2. A lot of basketball yet to go. And if there's anything the Rockets know about, it's about how to win tight, light games. Rudy T is going to take a 20-second timeout here. Not a full, a 20.
I'll tell you, the competitor Mark Price is, he's a guy that, I don't know him very well. but I have a feeling he's kind of a perfectionist. Just by interacting with a little bit. As he made the second free throw, you would think you'd feel pretty good about that.
He was mad and rattled.
He was hitting his side of his head because he was upset that he threw the ball away a moment ago. That's what he's thinking about. He is just ticked off at himself they made that mistake.
Well, it may be a big mistake in the ultimate analysis. We'll see how it plays out here. Now, most coaches on the road would try to win the game right here and now. That may be different. The Rockets have to feel they're the better team, and if they can just get 5 more minutes out of this one, they could win. But also keep in mind that this man has not rested at all since halftime. So what do? It's almost obviously going to go into Barkley. And I guess the defense will determine what the Rockets do. If they double him, it's out for 3. If they don't, Barkley goes at the goal. Here you go. Shot clock will be on. The Rockets are down 2 points. No double. Well, they doubled him. Kinde threw it early. Oh, there's a foul. They called Mullen again on Ellie. And he's a great free throw shooter, Mario. Career 85%. That's a very, very big call.
You're going to see this is probably a clean play by Mullen. Otherwise, he would not have taken the chance, the risk, because Ellie was certainly going up in the shot. You'll have a great angle right here to see it.
Oh, that's a bad call.
Yep, he got all ball, but
that's a bad call. And Ellie got the first one. It's a 1-point game. Adelman's had a hard time with the referees today. And that was just simply a bad call. The others were debatable. You could make a point the other way. That one you cannot. That was a bad call.
Yeah, and the official from the corner did not have the angle on it because he was blocked out by Mullen's body, but he should have seen, if he'd have moved a little bit, that it was all ball from behind. Mullen does that better than anybody in the league.
Although this scenario is not that bad for the Warriors. Even if he makes the free throw, which he does, timeout, yes, timeout. And you come up the floor, and if you run it right, the worst that can happen, Jim, is you have to go 5 more minutes. You may win it.
Does this remind you a little bit of
Utah? Oh, what am I saying? What if they score too early and they come back? That could happen also. But you want to shoot late. Don't score with 4.8 to go. Score with 0.8 to go. In the last couple of weeks, the Warriors have played some of the better teams in the NBA right down to the end, but ultimately they would lose. Today, they get a second chance. The Rockets beat them last Saturday in Houston, and for the first time this year, the Warriors are playing a team for the second time this year, Jim, and also they get to relive those final moments Thursday in Salt Lake City. Warriors have the ball, tie game, and 14 seconds to go. And they have a couple of options, actually 3 options, of course, with Price, Mullen, and Sprewell.
Yeah, and you saw that graphic there. Price and Mullen today has shot over 80% combined. Now, you're going to get some defensive pressure by the Rockets to make the Warriors use up some time.
And the Warriors elect to inbound the ball to the backcourt, so the Rockets defense just won't set up and camp in the lane.
Interesting.
Here we go. To win or play overtime, essentially. Joe Smith to win the game. No. Rebound, Barkley. He's not going to make that one, is he? That's pretty close. That was like his outlet pass. Boy, Joe Smith just does not have the legs today to make a jump shot. He has missed some open shots. That one was a good look, and Joe just clanked it. So 48 will not be enough today. We'll have to play 53 for the second game in a row. Barkley may need a moment or 2 before we begin the overtime. Greg Papa, Jim Barnett back at the San Jose Arena. Good crowd today, almost 17,000 here to watch the Warriors and Rockets. Here's your last play. Time running down. Mark Price will not wait for this Sprewell pick. He goes beforehand, Jim, and that just Emmanuel Davis stays on him.
It changed everything, and plus, by the defense in the backcourt, the Warriors simply ran out of time. If they'd had a few more seconds, possibly the ball could have been rotated to a guy who was shooting the ball better today. I was kind of surprised that Joe Smith ended up with it. Maybe the Rockets planned for that.
Yeah, Joe may have been the next to last option outside of Dalton Spencer. Price, Sprewell, and Mullen have been shooting so well. Drexler with the early foul here to begin the overtime, his 4th. Clyde with 29 points today is now 10 away from 20,000. Adelman going at it with the referee. Hugh Evans, he wanted shots on that Drexler foul. Hugh Evans, our lead official.
Well, how good is the Rocket defense? The Warriors were relegated to getting the ball in, and their only option was Felton Spencer on that last time. Now they're just letting Joe Smith handle it up front.
Shot clock is fresh. Warriors begin the OT the way they closed regulation. The starting 5 back in. Price, Sprewell, Mullins, Smith, and Spencer. And there's Mark Price again. What a game for Mark. I mean, these shots are going through so pure. The netting comes right back up through the rim.
That was deeper than the one he hit earlier in the fourth quarter. And Ellie was coming to his the shooting hand side.
Drexler, no, very long. Calling the rebound away from Barkley. Warriors playing the early moments of the overtime much better today than Thursday night in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, they were outscored 10-2.
I think they're going into the overtime today, Jim, with a different frame of mind, though. They were deflated after the Malone shot to force the OT. That's off the 24-second clock. And the Rockets get the ball back. And also, Charles Barkley has really got to be feeling it as he has played all but 3 minutes in this game.
Mark Price has been my player of the game. What he has done coming down the stretch and to start this overtime period.
And you called it. You said Mark's due for a 30-pointer. He has hit that number precisely. Needed the overtime, though. Foul, late one. Drexler will go to the line as Clyde got very deep on the post-up. Fouls on Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, I would have been satisfied with Price. I was talking about maybe a 25, 26-point night. He finished 27 in the regulation.
Clyde has had a disappointing free throwing year to 67%. In career, he's a 79%er. He has made 5 of his 6 today. And there's another miss. His shot to begin the overtime was awful. It was low and it was long. And this free throw was also very low. Barkley a triple-double. Drexler a double-double. And we have a 2-point game. 1 minute and 30 seconds into the first overtime. The Rockets trail the Warriors by 2. Ellie and Mullen, former high school teammates at Power Memorial in New York. Mullen couldn't beat him that time. Ellie wears number 17 to honor Chris. Barkley and Joe Smith. Oh, an offensive foul on Barkley.
He can't lose his cool in overtime.
That's really surprising. What did he do to pick up a foul?
You remember earlier he knocked into Joe Smith. They called a foul on Smith. Let's watch the elbow. See if there's an elbow here.
Yeah, a little bit. That's Charles Barkley, though.
Yeah,
man.
I'll tell you, that's a tough call the other way. I don't know where they came from.
Let him go. Joe, no. Rebound, Barkley, his 15th rebound. Joe Smith is 4 of 13 from the floor this afternoon.
Joe Smith is worn down, battling Barkley. He's simply worn down. It takes a physical toll on your body when you play defense on a guy like this with that kind of strength.
Done a good job against him, though. When was the last time Charles scored a basket? It made a 3-pointer early in the fourth quarter. Barkley missed his last 4 shots from the floor. He's getting on the line, scoring a little bit, but he's not been able to finish his shots. So Barkley will be back on the line here looking to tie the game. Warriors lead 111 to 109. Good numbers for Charles, obviously 19th career triple-double. How about the game he had against the Phoenix Suns? In his first game as a Rocket, it was in Phoenix, and he pulled down 33 rebounds. Little statement game, huh?
Yes, he came out ready to play.
And he also played the Suns in their most recent game, a win Thursday in Houston. He had 20 points and 16 more rebounds.
And 7 assists in that game.
111-111. Today, Charles Barkley, 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists.
33 rebounds is pretty remarkable, though, career high. Right now, the Warriors don't care about that. Now, Price waited for the screen. Look what it got him.
32 is the number today. That's how many points Mark Price has.
If they'd executed exactly like that, a little more patience to end the game, we wouldn't be in overtime. Because that was the same exact play, and he waited for the screen by Spree.
Brent Price agonizing over on the bench. He can't get out there and guard his brother. Barkley, no, with the reversal. Barkley has missed 5 straight shots dating back to early fourth quarter.
I'll tell you what, the fans are getting acquainted with Mark Price today. This is the Mark Price who made the All-NBA first team 4 years ago.
Well, he's doing so well. Rudy Tomjanovich has changed up his plan. He has pulled out of the game Matt Maloney and brought in Emmanuel Davis to guard Price.
Davis, the CBA Defensive Player of the Year last year. See if he can make a difference.
Foul a moment ago called on Clyde. Clyde has 5 fouls. One more and he's gone. You don't get any more in the overtime. 6 and you're gone still. Here's Davis on Price. Jim pick and roll with Springwell. They double Price. They triple Price. He's got to get that out.
He had a little crack. And he's pretty small when you get in that kind of traffic.
Drexler scores to tie it. Huge sequence there. Haley with the assist. Clyde Drexler now with 32 himself. And we are tied at 113. 90 seconds to go in the first overtime. Sprewell's going to be doubled by Willis. Took him a while to get there. Warriors don't rotate it over to the weak side quickly enough. And Joe Smith has the ball go right through his ear. Or past his ear. Back-to-back turnovers for Price. Timeout. Rudy Tomjanovich. Each club has 113 points, and we have 1 minute and 19 seconds to go in our first overtime.
Now, Mark Price has played 35 minutes today, and I think he's a little fatigued. That's part of the reason he's made a couple of mistakes.
With Jim Barnett, Greg Papa back at the San Jose Arena. A little overtime on this matinee today. Teams required to go an extra 5, and that really has moved the minute totals up. Barkley, who was among the leaders in minutes played, over 41 a game. Springwood actually leads the entire NBA in minutes played once again, 42.2.
Now, Price has played 34 minutes prior to today, but this is 35, and you and I were talking during the break. You made a good point. Him being fatigued hasn't hurt his shot, but if you notice those shots, he was pretty wide open. When you go in the middle and you're going against contact, it's a different kind of strength, and it just changes things. And as I said, he's pretty small to go in there among the giants, and you can get caught up in it.
Yeah, Mark Price's strength is shooting the ball, and the Rockets now know that. They're tripling him, and they make him pass. And he's never had a high assist clip throughout his career. In fact, coming into the year, Mark Price, an average of 7.2 assists a game. The Rockets have the ball first. The game is tied. 70 seconds to play. Shot clock at 15. Drexler against Sprewell. We're going to give Barkley a break here. Clyde goes in. Wrist. Barkley. Timeout. He got it. He got the timeout, and they're also going to reset the shot clock for the Rockets. Obviously, the ball went off the rim, so it all turns out well for Houston now. 1:03 to go, Jim. They can work this clock down and maybe set themselves up for the last 2 shots of the game or the overtime to the Warriors won. We'll see how they play it. A lot of strategy going on in those huddles.
The Warriors are going to have to come up with another defensive stop inside. They did a pretty good job on Drexler, except he had a half a step on Sprewell, and that's why Barkley got an offensive rebound, because people had to leave their respective people on the defensive end. And when you do that and you have to help, it opens it up for an offensive rebound.
Looks like right now both teams are gassed. I think the emotional adrenaline of the late regulation and the early overtime has subsided. The crowd now is back in their seats a little bit. They're going to kick back and watch it. It's been a very up and down style game, a lot of shots, a very high scoring game. And I think right now everybody's a little bit drained. They're going to have to recharge, Jim, because the next 63 seconds will determine who wins this thing.
Now, the Rockets have the ball. They've got an advantage, but the Warriors have the timeouts left, and they've got a foul to give. And that foul to give is very, very important. What you would like to see, the Rockets use about 18 to 22 seconds on that clock and try to go for something and foul them at that time, and then have them take the ball out of bounds with maybe 3 or 4 left on the clock, and it changes the whole complexion. But, you know, yes, I agree. People are a little fatigued, but you got 1:03 to go. That's why you're paid to play. That's why you're a pro. You just pull it up and you go for it, because the Warriors, they really need this win.
That's what I like about you, Jim. You broadcast the entire game, no matter how long it is. Your performance does not waver. I'm getting a little tired here, though. The one thing the Warriors have to do is clear the rebound if the Rockets miss. They cannot give them another shot. Matt Maloney is in, the better offensive player, and Emmanuel Davis leaves. Into Barkley, no surprise.
Now
they double him, no surprise. Willis is open. He's going to shoot, no surprise, but he made it. 51 seconds to go. Not bad for the Warriors, really. They shot so early now. The Warriors still may be able to get a couple of shots up. We'll see.
I'm surprised
that he made it.
Felton did not foul Willis immediately and then take the ball out of bounds. They had a foul to give.
A little late getting over, and he decided to play him straight up. So Willis gives the Rockets a 2-point lead. The Warriors have the ball, though, and a lot of time yet to go. Rockets up 2. Warriors have a fresh shot clock, Jim. The Warriors do have the basketball and a lot of time to play in the game.
You triggered something in my mind as you went to break. You said the Warriors do have a lot of time left. And that's why Rick Adelman did not choose to give that foul a moment ago. They had a foul to give because he knew the Rockets were going to have another possession. So he's smarter than I am. I thought about that. He's saving it for the next possession. You can bet on that.
I'll tell you, though, there are not a lot of time left for the San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. They do not want to see a second overtime here. We may be cutting into their ice time for the warm-ups. The game tonight scheduled to start at 7:30, and they say it takes about 3 hours to turn this place from hoops to hockey. So we're coming up on 3 o'clock. Price to Spencer. He missed the dunk, and the rebound to Ellie. And now the Warriors are running out of time. They're going to play straight up. They have a foul to give. You don't want to give one now.
No.
You got to play it up and you get a miss. The Rockets have a ball, a 2-point lead. Shot clock 12:27 to go. Barkley. Willis is going to do the Warriors in today. Kevin Willis has made the 2 biggest shots of the afternoon. Rockets at 4, going on 5. 21 seconds left.
Well, they're leading a charmed life because I thought the Warriors had this game, and the way they came out in the overtime, a double team, but somehow Spencer did not stay home enough, and Barkley was able to split the defense for a pass inside. If you're going to double team, you're not only taking away a shot, but you want to take away an interior pass.
Kevin Willis with 5 points in a row, and he has put a stranglehold on this one for the Houston Rockets. This game was tied at 113, but his 5-point flurry puts them up 5 with 21 seconds to go. Another assist for Charles, his 12th of the game, and that is, at least for now, the backbreaker. Tough one for the Warriors today, unless they can rally in these last 21 seconds. Kevin Willis was only a Warrior for 28 games last year and did not play real well with the Warriors, but he's going to make some big plays down the stretch to do them in today.
Mark Price picks up the foul. Really had no chance because Kevin is so much bigger. Mark really couldn't get an angle on the ball, but the play was lost when Felton got up in the air on his little tippy toes and Barkley ducked underneath.
Yeah, and Willis gets the attention because he made the shot, but it was Charles Barkley and his mere presence that created the whole thing. That's why players like Barkley and Jordan are special. They make everybody else better. Joe Smith has had a very poor game today. 4 of 14 from the floor, and he picks up another miss, and this one's over now. Joe Smith could have won the game at the end of regulation, a wide open look, but just has not been his day after a good 5-game run. Joe regresses a bit today. Charles Barkley looking to put the final nails in what would be a 9th Warrior coffin of the year. With their 9th loss, they would fall to 3-9.
I tell you, this is a little more disheartening than the Utah game, Greg.
You feel that way?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I thought it was tough, but it was in Utah. They feel pretty good about that. They come back. They know what they did defensively. You've got a game here where Mark Price scored 32, Sprewell 28, and Mullen 27.
And all shot the nets off. Those three guys.
Exactly.
But nobody else helped.
But Mullen 11 for 14, Price 11 for 14, 22 for 28 between those two, and you lose the game.
And now you go back and see they shot 58%.
Yes.
But it's all going to be for naught. In the AP story tomorrow around the country, it'll be Charles Barkley with 27 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists, as the Houston Rockets defeated the Golden State Warriors in overtime. Rockets go to 11-1. They don't want December to ever arrive. They've won 5 in a row. They're going to play the Lakers in a showdown game again tomorrow night at the Forum. Barkley's 19th career triple-double, a big hug for Donyell Marshall. And there's your ball game. The Rockets win by 5 in 5 extra minutes. We'll come back in a bit later on during the Sports Channel report, but for now, it's back to Glenn Kuiper inside our studios.